What's going on here? Hey, everybody, welcome to Gootz's Wrestling Pod. I'm your host, Ray Gootz, and this is a big one. Biggest episode we've ever done. We got four people here on the show. First off, we got Kyle Lewis. Kyle, what up?
Yeah, what's going on? WrestleMania weekend coming to a close. A long, long weekend.
Yeah, and we got Pratik. Pratik, how you doing?
I'm all right. Happy Mania weekend, everybody. Hope everybody was safe and happy and
And joining us
hydrated.
time, for the first time on this show, he was on my Disney podcast, but now he's on this show. Scott Chaplin, a roast battle legend. How you doing, brother?
What up, Kings? Yeah, happy end of WrestleMania weekend. We fasted for all those days and now we can feast.
We can feast, man. It was a crazy week, lots to cover. Let's give let before we begin like going in specifics. Overall, our thoughts on the week. My overall thoughts were night one was I had low expectations going into this weekend. I got to be honest. I expected the worst. Night one was worse than I expected, and night two was way better than I expected. Especially the main event. Overall, and we'll go down the line. Kyle, overall, what were your thoughts on the weekend?
Overall, night one was, I think everyone collectively had issues with night one, and night two was much better. I don't think night one was the match quality in night one, besides timing, was not necessarily as bad as everyone is making it seem. I think people are confusing match time with match quality, and they're really upset with the ads, rightfully so. But I don't think there was a match on night one that was like, oh, get me out of here, personally. Night two, I think, even though I guess the timing was the same, it just kind of flowed much better. I guess there were less Hogan ads, which I didn't have any. I watched it on Disney Plus, and I didn't see a Hogan ad. I saw zombies and High School Musical, whatever. But I'd rather that over a Hulk Hogan ad, any day. But I think the general consensus is night two definitely clears night one. My personal consensus too. And the Raw after Mania was fine. It was fine. I think the Raw after Mania has been long gone since 2019. The ones that we've gone to and been used to
Man, I
with the
strong agree
Ruckus.
with that, dude.
Yeah, they're long gone.
It's like the UK ain't showing up anymore.
No, they're all elite, or they go home after that expensive ass
Dude,
trip.
they might be all elite, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah,
Although
it's
I
insane.
did like the surprises. I'm curious what they're gonna do to SmackDown because SmackDown has like nobody right now. But I do like the
Right.
new additions to Raw.
Yeah, I mean, the crowd was subdued. I didn't really pick up on that until the end of the show. Um, and the surprises are minimal. I will say though, I do think Jacob. I hope they do more with Jacob than just one match with Roman. The ending segment of the Raw felt to me like I don't know, like going back to Hulkamania in 1996. You know what I mean? Like if they ended like Raw, like it's Hulkamania time again, brother. Like I don't need the Bloodline reunited. I'm really hoping this Roman title reign is a short one, and we go to the. I don't think Roman should be the champ when we get to WrestleMania next year. He obviously is gonna have a match, obviously, but he can't be the champ. That just to me is like going backwards. But anyway, before I get more on my thoughts, Pratik, what do you think overall of the weekend?
Overall, just kind of jumping on everybody else's consensus. Night two far superior, but not just because of expectations. I went in knowing that I was more excited about the matches on night two. So, I was definitely not as disappointed in night one. I also watched on Disney Plus. So shout out to the Disney Corporation for giving us maybe less ads or at least less annoying ads. I to me it was like I remember Penta came out and there was a Mortal Kombat like preview. I thought that was interesting. So I'm like, okay, that's kind of like synergy or whatever. But no, overall, I think the build going in, I was just like, okay, let's see what we're doing here. So to me, I kept my expectations what they were. This was the first Mania in 4 years that I did not attend live. I was interested in kind of enjoying commentary, enjoying kind of different camera angles, enjoying obstructed free views, and so it worked out in the end. I think I was pleasantly surprised. And then I enjoyed some of the indie stuff as well. DCW put on a couple really good events. I really encourage our listeners to check out Bloodsport as well. They had a really good card this year as well. So I thought, to me, given all the controversies and Reddit going nuts over stuff, I thought it was a clearly a great weekend for everybody involved, and I hope the people in Vegas got to enjoy themselves as well.
Yeah. Okay. Scott, give me your thoughts overall on the weekend.
Oh, I think night one was like I remember I had a pet frog and I had to change its water and I accidentally had put it in hot water and it like froze for a second and I'm like, "Oh my God, I just killed my frog." And then I just like slowly adapted the water and it came to life again. And I think night one was, "Oh my God, I think I just killed my frog." And then night two was realizing, oh no, we're still alive and there's hope. But night one was like the shock of the amount of commercials. And now I stole this show, I steal every show. And the way I saw it was I got some ads, then a sign that came up that was like WrestleMania will be right back, which I've never seen before. And it was like a loading screen for an old video game, and it happened constantly. And then that would end, and then you'd get two more commercials, and then you'd get 10 minutes of entrances. And again, this is night one, and then you'd get a less than an 8 minute match. I mean, I feel like most of the matches on night one were like 8 minutes. And so I slowly realized as the show progressed, and night two is a very different story, but night one, I'm going, holy shit, are you making matches short to reach commercial marks? Like, if this was
Yes.
television, you would have had a commercial break during the match, but since it's not, you have to end the match by 6, 8, 7, 8 minutes so we can hit another ad break. And I think everybody on the internet noticed it, and we were all in genuine shock that this is what WrestleMania is moving forward, or this is what WWE is moving forward, which is if you subscribe to this ESPN, this new PLE format, you are going to get what you get at the Super Bowl, which is 19 minutes of what you wanted and 3 hours of selling you shit. And it was on the ring apron, it was on the mat, it was on the turnbuckles, it was on the weapons that they used. It was night one was my frog is dead. I was
Mm,
shocked at night one. And then
yeah.
night two, I was used to it and I thought it was amazing because people showed the fuck up in terms of in ring.
Yeah. I'll tell you who saved the whole weekend, and everyone should give him a fucking bonus. Is CM Punk. CM Punk saved the whole
Absolutely.
fucking
Absolutely.
beyond the MVP. I mean, I was looking forward to Roman and Punk, and I was debating whether or not to drive in for that match. I really thought the match was going to be okay, and then we were going to have some weird interference. I thought maybe Pat McAfee and Punk would join forces. Vince, Greg Charles from Carolina thought Vince was going to come out. I was 100% convinced it was going to be some bullshit. And then the match happened, and it was just one of the greatest WWE WrestleMania matches I've ever fucking seen. The best match of Roman Reigns' career, the culmination of CM Punk's life. I loved it. I love that fucking match, man. You know?
Oh man, I thought it was like a CM Punk mission is what it felt like. And I wish that the company let other guys do what they wanted to do. Because I do think part of it is
Yeah.
Punk has the power to say, no, 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 this is what I want the match to be. Because again, we've had Roman Reigns in like what, 7 WrestleMania main events or some shit. This was the only great one.
Yeah, they're
And
all
and
like
and you could say that one with Cody where there was a bunch of appearances by Taker and The Rock. That was fucking stupid. Cinema wrestling is corny. Pro wrestling is where it's at, and that's where the storytelling is. You don't have to pretend about a thing called cinema. It's pro wrestling. The cinema is in it, and CM Punk knows about it, and he did it, and it was fucking awesome. Yeah,
yeah, it was
but
really
I
awesome.
literally
Kyle,
think
what'd you think of
everything
that
else
match?
was bad. Yeah.
No, I think it was the best
Yeah.
match on the show for sure. Um,
Yeah.
yeah, definitely Roman's best. Roman and with the story, Roman needed it because the cinema match, as it's been called, is it's fun. It's fun to watch. It's like Endgame with all the appearances and all that stuff coming. And I enjoy it. I enjoy it. I popped for everything. People to this day still debate if it was should have been Stone Cold or The Undertaker.
Huh.
Poor Undertaker can't have his moment. But
Should have
it
been
was
Tony
really.
Hinchcliffe. Not either one of them. It should have been Tony Hinchcliffe running out.
Oh, I mean, WrestleMania 43. We'll see. We'll see what happens. They love their celebrities. The celebrities are out. We heard that all the time. We heard that like every other second. But no, it was a really good match. Top to bottom. I saw people. It was such a good match. People were trying to nitpick the DQ with the stairs. Like they were just like I saw so many people trying to nitpick like that one thing. Which if you
Mhm.
listen to the commentary, I know they're not the greatest, but like I don't dislike them, but I know people don't like them. They were talking about the referee's discretion the entire match. He's like, the referee's not gonna do anything. The referee's gonna let this slide. So the stairs is why you use the stairs. But that was like the main thing people were really upset about was the stairs. And that's just someone when it comes to WWE, someone has to find something. And if that's the only thing you can find about that match that was like a check minus to you, then that's really, really good, especially for WWE. The rest of the card, what else? I was very surprised by Jade and Rhea. I thought they were gonna stink up the joint just because they just were not clicking on anything. But the match was
Mm.
good. I liked Stephanie and Liv, even though it was short. The Fatal Four Way was what it was. I know people wanted more time for these matches, but come on, like Paige and Brie Bella are in it. And it's not that they're bad wrestlers, but they wrestle. How long ago has Paige wrestled? You think she's putting on a 20-minute match right
No.
now? Absolutely not. So that was appropriately timed. The ladder match I enjoyed. Oba Brock was
That's
exactly what I wanted. And then the rest was fine. You know, you had the speed match and the Drew Fatu would have been good if there was like real heat for me to it. I have no interest in the match because I did not care about the feud, but they didn't do anything wrong as competitors. It just was, why is this match happening?
well, the problem with that match, and I brought it
Oh,
up
and
to my
Seth Gunter, but I like Seth Gunter.
yeah, but well, my the problem with Drew Jacob was, and I pointed out to my niece, is that the match got really good, and there were 5 minutes left till they switched to ESPN Plus. So we all knew this match is going to end in 5 minutes. So it killed the match for us, and sure enough, it ended 5 minutes later. And it's like that ESPN 2 thing. They did it better on night two, but that kind of killed night one because it's like well, they got to get these two matches in under the hour. Like one of these matches can't go fucking 45 minutes. And I don't know. I think that hurt the Drew match. Somehow it didn't hurt the matches tonight too. But I guess that's just because everybody on that first hour night two was just better. You know.
Yeah, I think also like Scott was saying, people just got used to it. A lot of the ads and stuff, if you've been watching ESPN, if you've been watching it, you're already
Mm-hmm.
used to it. And I know a lot of people checked out and they come back for Mania. So watching it on Netflix, watching it on VPN, I'm so used to these long ass breaks already, that it doesn't bother me as much. I'm not saying I encourage it. I'm just used to it. I know people were upset about the video packages. In WWE's defense, they have an 80-hour pre-show, which was, and in their mind, they're expecting you as the WWE fan to want to watch the 80-hour pre-show, and then watch this one, and then watch that one. So you don't need the video packages. In reality, no. I would much rather have this maybe a compromise with the video package is sponsored by the General or whatever. So you still get the General ad or whatever in the middle of it and you still get to see the video package because people like video packages and they're not gonna watch. Not everybody flocks to YouTube or a long ass pre-show to watch the packages. I heard the live attendance you were able to see the video packages, but some fans really wanted them, and I hope they find some type of compromise. But knowing TKO, I don't think that's
Yeah,
their.
I don't think there is a
I don't think
compromise. I
there's
mean,
their interest. Their interest is money
you're
and only
charging
money.
$30 and you can't skip commercials. I mean, you know.
I never thought I would miss Peacock, but here we are.
For Pratik, what do you think about CM Punk Roman?
I mean, see that match of the entire weekend. again, I'm a big Punk fan coming from Chicago. I was concerned a bit with given that last year's main event on night one was the triple threat, but I thought this built off well from the previous year's main event. And again, like Punk, just the historical opening that he had with the old music as well. Like he knows, he's probably like pulling it, like pushing some production guy to be like, we gotta do this, we have to do this, but it works. Whatever you can say, maybe he's tough to deal with backstage and he wants to do things a certain way, but whatever he pushes for, it kills, it works. It was like you guys have said, like the match was perfect. People can find their little, I'm sure the AEW fanboys like, well, but no, it was what this card needed going in. We were just like, oh, what's this build, what's this going to be? No, it was exactly what was needed. The length was fine. I think for me, because I was watching it on Disney Plus and I wasn't watching the live, I was watching like a replay at night a little bit afterwards. I wasn't like looking at the times or whatever. I was just kind of like zeroed in, and I was able to kind of like to fast forward a little bit, like some of the commercial stuff. So to me, it was great. I don't know about you guys, but this year the ring seemed less busy in a way, even though there's probably more shit on the ring than last year. But for some reason, last year there was just too many ads and it was really bothering me. Maybe I'm growing numb to it now, but this year, like maybe they did a better job spacing the shit. Also, apparently people's names were on the corners as well. Like I guess you could pay
Yeah,
a
that did
fucking
happen.
10 grand
Yep.
premium to get your name on the. I mean, these on location packages are getting nuts. You can do pasta with Liv Morgan in Italy apparently for $18,000, or go on Cody's bus for 5 minutes. You can use Cody's bus bathroom for $5,000. Like, yeah, we're not in a recession at all, but
Dude,
it's
I
No,
just
fucking.
if you have like $20,000 to put your name on the canvas, just go to WrestleCon and go up to some female wrestlers. You'll be surprised what you can get for 20 fucking grand. You'll probably have a wife at the end of the fucking event.
I mean, yeah.
Jesus.
dude, it is a great point though that part of my judgment of the nights is night one. I didn't like the Mandalorian logo on the aprons,
Yeah.
but night two, the Wingstop logo on the aprons was easier on the eyes, and that sucks. That
Mhm.
has to be part of the conversation. That like, hey, my eyes were a little annoyed by a certain flashing light on night one, but on night
Yeah.
two, the advertisement was kinder to my eyeballs.
Also, the
Very
Mandalorian
weird
didn't even
time.
do a run-in. No, no Grogu interference, nothing. I thought,
No, we did see them walking around the arena though.
yeah.
Yeah.
Pedro didn't even take off the mask. Maybe it was Chad Gable underneath. Who knows?
This is how far Star Wars has fallen. My niece and her boyfriend, they're big Disney adults. They didn't even know there's a new Star Wars movie coming out in a month. They had no clue. They were like, "Why is Mandalorian there?" I'm like, "There's a movie coming out." I'm like, "Really?"
Yeah.
Like fucking
Yeah.
rough. Um,
Could have won the Andre.
I will say though, like the problem with the mat and a lot of this ad shit is that we already have seen a company that knows how to do it, and I've said this before on the show. WCW with the Slim Jim on the Halloween Havoc canvas looked fucking awesome. That was a fucking vibe. We all remember Slim Jim presents Halloween Havoc. Nobody was mad at it. Nobody's like, look at this corporate greed. Macho Man came out dressed. I don't know if you remember the Halloween Havocs. He always wore a Slim
All
Jim
right.
outfit.
Yeah, we talked.
It was fine. There's a way to do this, but the way they do it is such a fucking eyesore, and it's so overriding. It's like, hey man, if you just like say to Slim Jim, hey, we're gonna do what WCW did, you're gonna have to pay us an arm and a fucking leg, but people for the next 40 years are gonna remember your stupid fucking logo. I think that's more worth it than going to like these 50 companies and having these small little eyesore logos everywhere. I don't know what you guys think. Scott, what do you think?
Oh, dude, I've never used these products. I still remember Stacker 2.
Yo.
Yes.
It never bothered me. It was like a thing that presented WWE.
Mm-hmm.
Uggs, boots and shoes with an attitude.
The
Why do I
JD's.
remember that? Because I watched WWE and it didn't bother me. Because
Mm-hmm.
someone wasn't putting on putting Uggs on their hands and punching a guy with them. Like it's too egregious what they're doing, and it's also everything is too expensive now.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
We're already, and so many people are going like, well, you're only paying $30 for the ESPN thing. Well, why? It's 30 fucking dollars. What are you talking about? I'm only spending $30. That's a lot of money to be then watching a bunch of commercials, to then you pull out a table and the table is a commercial.
Yeah.
That's a problem.
And we're so used to paying $10 a month. I mean, they had Hulk Hogan, they had JBL, they had fucking The Rock beat into our heads $9.99 from 2014 to 2020. We're so used to that, and then we paid less with Peacock, and we accepted the ads. That it's like, hey man, if you're gonna charge us 30, then give us the full archives. I'm talking like every episode of World Class, every fucking Saturday night, every Heat, even the ones that were on MTV where the main event was Crash Holly, Steven Richards. Give us everything, and then I'll give you $30, and I'll even give you 40 if you take out the ads. But don't fucking $30 for an hour of ads at WrestleMania. That's fucking insane.
No,
You
I
know?
agree.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
And Vince once said that he would only put ads on WrestleMania if he could get it on a free network. Like in other words, CBS airs WrestleMania, he would then sell like ad time and take ad breaks in WrestleMania. But the payoff for that is you'd be seeing WrestleMania 3 or 5 or whatever live on channel 2 on a that's so yeah, I'll take the ads at WrestleMania 3 if I'm seeing it live and free on CBS. This shit is just unacceptable to me.
Well, also, guys, and I wonder if you agree. Obviously, screw Vince, and even if you saw the last 15 years of Vince's booking, it's like it was a wrap. Now he's
Mm-hmm.
like in his 80s. Obviously, he has nothing to actually contribute. But this year, you saw Cena as a host, and you saw the segments they had, and I did think the Danhausen thing was cute. And congrats to Bianca, but Vince did make or maybe, whoever was booking at the time, everybody, they made WrestleMania feel like it was a family reunion for wrestling. And instead, I had to like look to the indies this year to see those cool moments because
Mm-hmm.
WWE gave us no nostalgia this year. They gave us no like fun little, oh my goodness, it's Mean Gene interacting with Ron Simmons. And I mean,
Right. Well,
that's
that
what
would have
we
been crazy.
that
You
that
wouldn't be
well
a zombie.
but you know what, I like, we didn't
Yeah,
get, and on some level I go, do they not respect the people who were legends 20 years ago the way 20 years ago we respected the legends? Like, because why are we not seeing a family reunion vibe? Why am I not seeing fun segments? When I was a kid, I got to see Piper's Pits for no reason because it was
Mhm.
WrestleMania, and we're trying to tie in the history of wrestling. And we got none of that this year. There was zero backstage segments this year.
Yeah.
No, it's definitely
I
a
think like
Triple H
Victor.
thing. My theory that Triple H just does not like fun. That's literally
Yeah.
my theory. The fun that we like is not the fun that he likes. Like Kill Tony is his fun, and this is not a
Yeah.
the shit
Yeah.
on
The
Kill
fun.
Tony thing.
The fun is
But
Jay Uso in an open micer from Austin telling rape jokes. That's the fun.
that
It's not.
that's his fun. Look, I didn't watch the full thing. That's the kind of stuff he loves. But I missed the backstage segments. That's the way to just get somebody on the card. Like you could have had, even if you're doing an ad and it's Wingstop and like Kyrie Sane gives Asuka the wrong wings and then she's abusing, the fucking thing, the storyline they
She
got going
spits
on
the
right
wing
now.
sauce midst. Like that
Yeah,
was
exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah,
All
something
that.
like
Yeah.
that. It's a terrible use of Asuka, but at least she's on the show. Or Chelsea Green, who like that's the stuff that really bumped me out. Chelsea Green, Carmelo Hayes, Ilya Dragunov, Johnny Gargano, like the people who've been working
Yup.
their ass off all year and they get the Battle Royal Friday for maybe like 2 minutes instead of being on the show like after working their ass off all year. And I don't understand it. Put a Battle Royal, put a
Well,
multiple women's U.S. title match there anyway. Like, especially if you're gonna make these short ass matches, throw one more short match in, I guess.
yeah.
Like these
Well, that
people work all year for this, and then Like, oh no, your reward is the party in Vegas, which I don't know, maybe it's easier on their bodies, maybe they get
Catering.
money
Yeah.
for it. I don't know the pay. I don't know the pay cuts, but I just think that sucks to work all year and then, especially Carmelo Hayes, get told 3 weeks before, yeah, you're not gonna be on the show. I just don't understand it.
Well, that's why Vince would insist on these battle royals being on the pre-show and even on the DVD because he could give everybody WrestleMania payday, and that's why like they had these battle royals even at 21, 22. They're on the DVD, and then they get a cut of the residuals when people buy the DVD. But well, that's gone. You just get your whatever you get for SmackDown. You get the look like a bitch. Uh,
Speaking of SmackDown, the SmackDown before Mania, especially this week, is just like terrible. I almost wish they could just go back to video packages. Like this was like the most nothing SmackDown I've seen in a long time. Like
well,
if I
they treat like a pre-show. They treat the SmackDown like the pre-show with
yeah
another pre.
yeah they used to. I mean, the year before, at least they did like a good job with like Rollins and stuff on it. This one, CM Punk and Cody Rhodes had a we'll see what happens promo. They finally ended the MFT Wyatt thing, which has been going on for like 12 months. Tiffany Stratton and Jordan Grace had like a nothing match. And that's no disrespect to either woman. Like it's just like why would somebody pay, especially if this is part of your big weekend, why would somebody pay to go to this? You're not giving them anything.
And
It's
like we
just
talked about last week, it used to be it was the Hall of Fame and SmackDown as a combo thing. So if the SmackDowns were whatever, which I remember I went to the one at 38, but I was there for the Undertaker Hall of Fame, so I didn't really care whatever the SmackDown was. But to pay 300, $200, I think nosebleeds. I was looking, nosebleeds were still like 250 with Ticketmaster fees. To pay 250 for nosebleeds for that, like a 5 minute Cody Punk promo, like no, I'd be. And then you got to race over to Hall of Fame to see a
yeah.
3 hour Stephanie McMahon speech.
Yeah, I watched that one afterward. I don't know if they cut things out, but it moved pretty smoothly when I watched it um on Disney
Rodman's
later.
speech, though, I don't know if anybody caught that thing. That
No,
was
Yeah,
a thing.
I didn't see anything. Scott, did you see the Hall of Fame?
Well, no, the only thing I did, I saw AJ and Stephanie's speeches, and I mean, I guess it does technically make sense if you guys want to get into it, but Stephanie headlined the show, not AJ.
no, they had AJ do it. They had
No,
Stephanie go first, and then
Stephanie
oh,
AJ.
opened it,
Stephanie went before AJ.
but she
Yeah,
had a
and
longer
then
speech. AJ
oh
got
yeah,
Oh,
no,
okay.
she had
Well,
like an
that's
hour. Like
yeah,
well,
the
that's
kids
great.
talked, which I'm not. The kids are the kids, and then Linda
and then
McMahon
Linda.
spoke,
I did see Linda. Yeah, yeah,
and then
which surprising.
no, they
Mhm.
don't care.
And we did get a thank you, Vince, which we knew
Yeah,
we would.
got to
We knew.
thank you, Brock. Got to thank you, Vince. Again, people do not care.
No, oh, they do not care, man. I'm telling you, like, I think part of the disappointment of night one is if you want to make a storyline about TKO and WWE and corporate, people want to see Vince show up. Like, it's you got to drop this stupid shit because then people start imagining dumb ideas that could never happen, which is
No,
a Vince return and Ari Emanuel being a character. You don't want it.
I not
But
even
but
a
this is
little
my
bit.
thing also.
No.
Even if let's say Vince was never accused of anything and he was just faithful to his wife all these years, right? And he's a great guy, gives to charity. He's still like 80 years old. How much could he physically do?
Well, right, and he's horrifying looking. And if you
Yeah,
remember,
yeah.
towards the end, even when he was in power, he didn't like being on camera because he
Mhm.
understood he looks like a damn ghoul. He knew
Yeah.
he looks scary. He looks like a dying man.
That
Yeah,
stunner at 38 was
it was
Oh
bad.
man.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
So yeah, I guess like if CM Punk turns heel and makes Vince his manager, yeah, on paper in 2011,
yeah.
that's crazy and awesome. But nowadays, I mean, like Vince is gonna die. Like the second CM Punk like fucking cuts his second promo with Vince next to him, he's gonna fall down dead. Like I don't
Yeah.
understand like all this fantasy where he becomes a character on the show. This is an old man. Like
Yeah, he looks like Dracula, man. No, it's
yeah.
terrible.
I
He
mean,
also was
regardless.
Cuban at one point when after Mania 39 during
Oh
that.
yeah, the infamous mustache.
Yeah.
Oh
the,
yeah.
the villain mustache and the tan line. Oof.
You
Yeah.
know, I thought they had room to show up, and now obviously he wasn't because he signed with AEW. Jericho, because night two when he was like, "We're gonna make things big," John Cena. They did all the fireworks, and then like the WrestleMania logo turned blue, and it kind of looked like the Y2J
Oh,
like
dude.
background. It almost seemed like they were like, "Well, that would have been your thing," but nope, you left and stayed to fight
Man,
Ricochet.
yeah, I'm
Like,
glad you said that because that was an issue I had with night one. John Cena opened up being like, "We're gonna start big," and we all knew the first match was Oba and Brock, but the way he said it was like we were getting a surprise, and then there
Hmm.
was a bunch of fireworks, and all it was on the screen was the WWE logo. And then the show just started, and I'm like, damn, like Austin was in town all weekend. We've seen
I
a
don't think
bunch of
Triple H
legends
wants
be
to.
around. Ugh.
I don't think Triple H wants to give any credit to Austin. I think he's very jealous of what Austin did, and I
Oh, I
I
think,
think.
think af- I think
Oh
after
yeah, and I
last
hope Foley
year,
goes to AEW, man. I
oh
mean,
yeah,
yeah,
Foley's
Yeah,
dope.
he needs to ASAP.
yeah. I mean, I think he's very, and we'll get into what happens at SummerSlam, but I think Triple H, if he could get Rock, Foley, and Austin banned from WWE events, he would. He doesn't. He doesn't want
Hilarious.
Austin to walk out there because when Austin walks out there, you realize Austin just standing on the ramp. You're gonna realize like everything I just saw was shit. It was so much better when this guy was wrestling.
It's why, in my opinion, the cinema match, WrestleMania 40, Austin should not be the one. I understand Austin Rock, but we talked about it last week. If Austin came out and saved Cody, who gives a shit about Cody? Like
Yeah,
no one's gonna care about Cody. Like
The
Undertaker,
stare
fine.
down would eat
Yeah,
all the attention. Yeah, it wouldn't
exactly.
be.
Everyone's like, "Oh, Austin's back." That's all anybody would care about, and I 100% get it. It's like, especially the early days of comedy when you'd be on one of those like early bringer shows, and you're like, "Oh, your friends like, oh, this is nice," and they bring out like Jim Gaffigan or somebody who's way more famous, and everyone's like, "Well, now that's a comedian." And you're
yeah.
just like,
Right.
"Well, I guess."
Or like what Amy Schumer did to Brendan Sagalow when he was supposed to headline. She goes
Yeah,
up there. It's like,
yeah.
well,
Hilarious.
That's a different dirt sheet.
I was.
Ugh.
But
Let's talk about the other big news of the weekend. I'm going to give my opinion. I want everyone's opinion. Brock Lesnar lost to Oba Femi. Great, that was great. A lot of controversy about Brock Lesnar coming back because of the lawsuit. And then at the end of the match, Brock shocked. He even shocked me. He retired, and Paul Heyman basically confirmed it tonight on Raw that he retired. He put his boots in the ring. He cried. Paul Heyman cried. The crowd went nuts. I mean, they were. I mean, I've never heard such a pop for this fucking guy since until last night. I mean, he's gotten pops, but that was like a raw pop from the crowd. Um, and there's still a contingent of fans that don't think he's going to retire. Obviously, tonight Gunther said Paul Heyman owes him a favor. People still think Brock is going to retire in Minnesota at SummerSlam. I have, I kind of think he should just retire. It's not going to get better than last night. Last night was a very raw, emotional moment for him, for the fans, for Heyman. It was great TV. It was better than Cena's retirement. It was better than AJ's retirement. Um, I think they should just leave it the way it is. It's diminishing returns to go back to it. And I also think the reason why they did this last night is there's going to be worse shit coming out, and they just got to get rid of him. So it's better
Hmm.
to have him walk out a hero than be fired a villain like Hogan was. Let's start with Scott. Scott, what do you think of the Brock retirement?
Okay, so technically, it's hard to say technically when it's like a less than 5 minute match. I think technically it was like 4 minutes and 48 seconds or something. Uh, I'm a bell to bell guy, but at the same time, I also understand that Brock Lesnar bell to bell makes the shit feel more real than basically anybody. And I think what we wanted was exactly what we got, which was just these two guys doing a few things and then Oba winning, which is what we did get. And then I was assuming Lesnar was going to go on and fight Gunther at Mania. Again, Gunther has this favor. We're going sorry, not Mania, it's SummerSlam, right? And it's Lesnar's hometown, blah blah blah. But the more I think about it, and when I was watching the match and it went under 5 minutes, I went, oh, this is what Brock does all the time. Brock doesn't like going long, and he's older now. And if Brock fights Gunther, he's gonna have to go long. Otherwise, what is the match? Like Gunther isn't this. He's a dominant force, but it's like he's a technical dominant force. He's going to choke you out. He's going to out wrestle you in a wrestling match. And I don't think that's how Brock needs to go out when he's been a guy for the last 15 years who's only had 5 minute matches. And so have the 5 minute match with Oba. It makes Oba look like a star. What I loved about the end of the match, and Michael Cole is often annoying, but Michael Cole going, the next big thing is Oba Femi. And you go, yeah, almost the way AJ gave Dragon Lee the Styles Clash, give Oba the next big thing. Because sure, it's a moniker, but it's also a sentence. And who is the next big thing? It's Oba Femi. So
Yeah.
I would say end this shit. I would say Brock is retired. You That was fantastic. Because if you don't, yeah, it's a cool storyline. Like, oh, Gunther's beating up Paul, and now Brock has to come back to save Paul. But then unless we get a 5 minute match, we're gonna get a long match, which we don't want. We don't want Brock in a long match. It will suck. So yeah,
Yeah.
Brock retired last night. It was awesome.
And then I think you take something away from Obafemi because if Brock comes back and then let's say he beats Gunther or whatever, it's just like, well, Oba didn't retire him. Oba just kind of beat him. And it's like, no, give Oba this so you can build on Oba because you need Oba around the next 10, 15 years, you know?
Yeah, I do think it was a little bit of a shoot, though. I think the company expected him to be at SummerSlam. The way
Yeah,
he
but
threw up the X, I don't know if you guys saw that. I think
yes.
he was, yeah, I think this was his call.
But I think it's his call because he knows something else is going to come out. He's just like, hey,
Maybe.
you can't fucking fire me. You can't fucking cancel me if I'm hiding in my ranch for the rest of my life. So, peace.
Dude, it's also that thing of ain't nobody retiring next year at Mania. Next year it's in Saudi. You're not getting a special moment from
Punk
somebody in
retired if I
Saudi.
go there, you know?
AJ
Right.
retired and saw that was.
Oh my gosh, I know.
Uh, Kyle, what do you think about Brock?
I mean, you guys are making good points. I think Brock Gunther, like match wise, maybe they realized it would not work. Might not necessarily need it. So having Oba, now you have two big opponents for Roman or Jacob Fatu if they want to surprise us. But you have two big opponents for Roman, the guy that retired John Cena and AJ Styles and Goldberg, and the guy who retired Brock Lesnar. So now you have these two big forces that are at least going to come towards Roman Reigns at some point in the next year, whoever the world champion is. So I think, yeah, I mean, I think it's the right call. They can always change their mind if tickets aren't selling from Minnesota for their 2 day SummerSlam, which they probably won't, and they'll hit the emergency button and undo everything just to get Brock back. But you also have to plant the seed of the favor that the favor is that Gunther gets a shot against Roman Reigns. You know, Gunther with Paul Heyman, some type of reason to get a title shot against Roman Reigns.
Well,
So,
I think what it's going to be, this is what I think what's going to be. Braun Breaker is going to win. This is what I would do now, pivot. Braun Breaker wins a number one contenders match, and Paul Heyman is actually like, we have to give that to Gunther. That was the favor. And then Braun is like, no fucking way. And then they clash heads. That or like Braun wins the Royal Rumble, and Paul Heyman goes, no, actually it's Gunther's now. It's Gunther's a win. Like
no,
that would be
that would be
a
good.
favor because
I
like
mean, even if they're like the final two in the Royal Rumble,
yeah,
then
Paul Heyman goes
like,
to Braun, you got to jump out of the ring. It's
yeah,
Gunther.
yeah,
That
Right.
would be a better conflict than
no,
Lesnar coming.
I agree. As for the Janelle Grant stuff, I mean, there's still a lot going on with that, and you could be absolutely right. Brock Lesnar could be in a, for lack of a better term, Jeff Hardy situation where like he left the WWE and then days later, all this shit came out.
Mm-hmm.
So further shit came out. So that could happen. Uh, but we'll have to wait and see about that.
we're gonna have to wait and see. Pratik, your thoughts on the Beast, Brock Lesnar?
I mean that the match itself, I know we talked about on our previous show last week about like they have to make this call. You can't let Oba lose. Like it's gonna derail weeks of TV. It's gonna derail his momentum. He literally left NXT without dropping the belt. Like you've pushed him so much. I even love like the way they shot him when he entered, like just the camera angles and whatever, like just looking like a star, looking like $1 million, like perfect passing the torch moment. Next big thing, all the commentary worked. I know it was for it. You know what? Honestly, I didn't even look at the time, but then looking back later, that was the perfect length. Like it didn't feel like a 4 minute squash. It still felt like there was enough offense, there was enough stuff. Like it kept me on my toes. They couldn't have done that better. And yes, you derail, and they added the surprise of him retiring. So to me, that was the perfect way to do it. And yes, we're gonna if they try to do a reset button because of Minnesota. I don't know if Minnesota, that's such a bizarre thing now. Like cities can have in their contract certain stars. I know Saudi pushed a lot of that. There's that famous story Saudi asked for Yokozuna and Ultimate Warrior because nobody told them that they were passed away. So it's so weird now that cities can be like, no, we need or you don't get the summer. Which Minnesota already got screwed over once because they were supposed to have the Mania from 41. So now I don't know if that was part of the deal that you get Brock. So see, but to me, Brock, we were already kind of done with Brock. Like to me, it was when they announced he was, or whenever he came back at SummerSlam last year. My only thought was, okay, he's got to put someone over and he's got to really pass the fucking torch. He did it. He passed the torch, made somebody look like a star. It was what was needed. It's what the crowd was into. Everybody's on board. Everybody's happy. Like it's fine. He can go back to the ranch. It's fine. He did what he needed to do. You can argue work rate and match length in his past, but when he needed to put somebody over and make somebody look like a star, Brock knows how to sell. I do think we have to give some credit there as well. Brock can sell and make someone look good when it's needed, and he did the right thing for Oba. So yeah, we don't need Brock at Minnesota SummerSlam. I'm fine with him retiring, whether or not it's controversy or sex scandals or sex slaves or he's fucking deer in fucking Canada. I really don't care. It was a perfect moment for Oba. I'm more excited to see what happens with Oba. I mean, there's so many different ways you could do it. You could do Gunther. I do like the idea. You guys have mentioned Gunther and Braun. I mean, there's money there because I think they only faced off once in NXT. So there's so much money with that match. You could do a triple threat somewhere. You could do both of them for the title at next year's Mania. But there's so much there. I'm just happy that we talked about on our preview show about you had all these stars in their 40s and all. Like I'm happy with some of the results that we're seeing. The youth is getting some push. The younger stars are getting made to look like main eventers. We're pushing towards the newer blood, and that's what we need. I'm hoping by next year's Mania we don't need to have each title belt held by an old timer. There can be like two guys under 40 fighting for the big one next year. So that's my goal. That's the goal of how you build off of this past year going into next year.
Not if the Prince has a say. The Rock's gonna hold all the belts.
I'm hoping that the Prince. Well, I'm hoping maybe it'll get if this military stuff's continuing, maybe we move that back to the U.S. or go to the U.K. Maybe I don't know. Somewhere.
Where they hold WrestleMania 7, just go back there again.
Go back to LA. That's great. I'll go again.
The Memorial Coliseum.
Exactly. Go right back to there.
So before we move to 1998, I want to talk about one more thing with you guys. I thought this was a great move. On Wednesday Night Dynamite, Darby Allin won the belt. And I'll tell you why I think it's a great move. Do I think Darby Allin should be the centerpiece of the company? No. But what got me excited about WrestleMania when I was a kid was I would see my hero win, whether it was Hulk Hogan or Steve Austin, or I guess there was a part where it was Diesel or Bret Hart, whatever. You would see the good guy prevail at the end, and they've kind of lost track of that, where you get to see the good guy pull it off. Benoit, 20, all this stuff. And going into look, I love CM Punk Roman match, but it's not like Roman overcame the odds and is like this big hero. It was just a really great match between two guys, but they were acting like tweeners. Like no one was a hard heel, no one was a hard. And Cody looked like a bitch after he beat Randy Orton. So I think it was important for Tony to give the wrestling audience a moment where the hero just triumphs and he gets the fucking belt and he just runs away with it. And that's it. Now this guy's the champ. You got to see this guy that you've been rooting for years to win. And I also think that's a good sign because I think if they stay in Saudi Arabia, if Tony doesn't fucking book Madison Square Garden or fucking Arthur Ashe or something the same weekend as WrestleMania and like make it a WrestleMania weekend here in the United States, he's a fucking idiot. And I think that the big allure should be you're going to see whoever you're rooting for in a year from now, you're going to see your hero climb the mountain. Um, and I think it was smart to have Darby win the belt. It doesn't matter when he could drop the belt 2 days from now, but I think it was very smart for him to have to win the belt. Scott, you're a huge AEW fan. What do you think of the Darby Allin thing?
Yeah, I think if you watch the show from start to finish, it was an entire show dedicated. It kind of reminded me of, and we mostly remember it from documentaries now, the way they talk about it, but that moment where WCW spoiled that Mick Foley was going to
Mhm.
win the title, but instead it was AEW letting you know Darby was going to win the title.
Yeah.
And the moment you turned on that show at 8 o'clock, you knew by the end of it at 10:05 or whatever, Darby was going to stand tall. And they told that throughout the show. And I thought that was phenomenal. Another thing, we're talking about feel good moments, and that was definitely one of them, is going back to a big issue with the first night of WrestleMania is if we look back at it and we're honest, okay, yes, Gunther and Seth was probably the best match of night one, but
Hmm.
the most WrestleMania match was the women's tag match. And it was because there was a surprise, there was a feel good, shocking moment. That was the only match on night one that felt like WrestleMania, was a
Hmm.
women's tag match. And it was because it felt nice to watch. And AEW does that often weekly. Like they are going to
Yeah.
make you feel good for watching their shit. And again, it's like I've had so many people because I go, dude, again, I steal everything, but I go like, hey man, these AEW pay-per-views, one, they're longer. There's not one commercial. And people will go, well, it's because it's $49.99. And I'm like, well, I have HBO Max, so it's like $39.99. And if I do ESPN, it's 30. So I'm only spending $10 more. And again, I'm not spending anything because I'm stealing it. But if I was buying it, I'm only spending $10 more, and I'm clearly getting a better product with no ads. So again, I think if we're going back to night one, and I know you're just talking about Darby, but Dynasty was like a week and a half ago, and Dynasty, Seth Rollins versus Gunther was the seventh best match on Dynasty. CM Punk
Yeah.
versus Roman was better than Dynasty, but night one, Dynasty whooped its ass, and most of night two, Dynasty whooped its ass, and so that's a problem. And if they're going to continue doing this commercial shit and this overcharging shit and this thing that has made UFC fans so disgusted, which is like this TKO mentality, AEW has a chance to win over some fucking fans. Maybe not this Wednesday, but in 6 months, and definitely next year at Mania season, they better run a show and they better invite all the indies, because
Yeah.
that's how you win. You go, hey, your family can afford this show. We're not going to charge you too much.
Yeah.
400 for front row, $50 for everything else.
And then you can tell the indies, WrestleCon and the GCW, hey, don't go over there and get beheaded. Just fucking run the show with us in New York. We'll give you we'll get you a deal in New Jersey Armory where they used to
Right.
have shows. All right, like just fucking do it over here. Like
Or
don't let
or
them
New
have
Orleans, where WWE bailed on this year.
New Orleans. Yeah, make a destination for the U.S. fans because I mean, dude, Hulk Hogan could come back from the dead and fight Steve Austin, and I still want to go to, and the tickets could be $3, and I still want to go to Saudi Arabia to see that live. I'm just like, I'm not
Right.
going over there. Like, that's not fucking happening.
Dude, wait till you see how many people do. which
I
is
know. That's the
crazy.
scary part.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Kyle, what do you think of Dynamite, Darby Allin winning?
I thought it was a good idea. Darby Allin's not my like top guy at all, but I thought it was a really good idea. It was first off the way to get everyone talking about you for the WrestleMania weekend. So it was a great surprise, and they let you know like it was choreographed, like Scott was saying. This is happening. You are going to tune in. You're going to want to see this happen. And he won it, and everybody like, especially seeing Sting come out and things like that. It was really, really well done. And now, whether MJF is here or on another trip or doing whatever, not another movie, whatever, you have a feud that for later, which could either be a double or nothing or somewhere down the line. So I thought that was a really good idea, in to just get people talking about you on a weekend that's not normally about you. I also think that they do need to do something. I can see it getting really ugly. I can see WWE already trying to be like, "Hey, GCW, come with us. We'll do some. We'll take care of you, Saudi Arabia or Bloodsport," which I know Josh Barnett is not doing anymore. We'll take care of you, Saudi Arabia, TNA, like trying to make deals to have
Mhm.
something and prevent people from doing it, or they're gonna put like a super NXT AAA on in America while to compete with whatever super AEW show that should happen, because I know they're not gonna want AEW to get any footing, but there should definitely be another star cast again and get as many people as you can. I feel like it's gonna be in Florida because most of them live in Florida anyway, and you can use Daly's place, you can use like Jacksonville. I don't know whether Jacksonville would they perform, but I mean would they play? But I
Maybe do this. I would do a stadium if I was AEW. I would do the
what
wherever they
the,
have
the
33. Is that Tropicana Field? The
yeah
33
Yeah,
what is
that
yeah
was,
what is
oh god, like the
like
Sun
I said
Life,
what is the
not Sun
Jaguars
Life, sorry.
Stadium?
Yeah,
Sunkiss, Sunkiss.
Citrus
Yeah.
Bowl, whatever.
Petite.
Everett Bank Stadium, which
Yeah,
is
no, yeah, echoing, everything. Like, yeah, AEW, my biggest, I've always said, like, Tony Khan knows how to book a super card, and I thought Dynasty was a fantastic pay per view, well worth its price, just nonstop action. I still remember going to Revolution 2024, that was Sting's last match. There wasn't a bath. I think I said it on this show, but yeah, I literally had to go pee during like Tony Storm's intro because I was like, there wasn't a filler match at all. It was just boom, 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 nonstop, nonstop. I think Tony did a good job with this Dynamite taping. He actually did a good job following up the pay per view with the Dynamite taping, which we talked about after Revolution this year, where the follow up wasn't as good, but this one was perfect. And like we said, you do that promo up top, you give everybody this thing of, okay, it's going to happen, and then you deliver. And we talk about match times, maybe 4 minutes. It didn't need it. Like, it worked. It didn't matter TV time, whatever. Like, that's how you maximize your minutes. We talk about, oh, this is too long. Night one is a perfect example. Things were short, but it didn't feel like anything. Whereas this was shorter than some of those matches, but it didn't matter. It worked for what it was. And again, like, I don't know if Darby Allin is a main eventer, but I do. He is the textbook underdog right now. He made it work. He knows how to sell. He's not just a spot guy. I love his, just when he wants something and he's flinging his body and punishing his body for you. Like, it sent shivers down my spine when he won. Like, it felt like the attitude era. It felt like that shock TV moment that we remember as kids. I believe this is the first world title change on TV and not on a pay per view. So I was wondering when that was going to happen. I thought this was the perfect time to do it.
Kenny Omega beat Moxley for the belt.
Yeah, winter is coming. It
Oh,
was
winter is
awesome.
coming. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Punk lost the belt to Dean Ambrose or whatever the fuck his name is.
yeah that
John
did
Moxley.
have that was like yeah it was like a really weird match. It was like
Oh,
two
was that
minutes
on
long.
TV?
Yeah.
Because it was like a
Wow.
special. I got confused because I remember that was like a special, but
He
this was
did like
also a special.
early, Mox just annihilated Punk
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
and won
And
the belt. Yeah.
Oh,
I
he won it back too because Punk had vacated time. Oh yeah, that was then. Yeah, that was a whole
Get
thing.
back,
Yeah.
and then he called Hangman an empty-headed dumb fuck, and then that was that. So.
Then
Right.
everything
And I
changed.
will say I've heard a lot of people say, and it, it's hard to disagree, at least if you've watched for the last year, because Darby is like climbing Mount Everest. And so
Planting
you
the flag.
go,
Yeah.
yeah, you go, hey, I just want to see wrestling, and you're not here wrestling. So why do you get to be the champion? But as a guy who's like watched indie since he was, I mean, I'm sure all of you, since you're like in middle school, you've been watching shit. And Darby and Hangman are the only people I've ever DM'd in my life to go, hey, I think you're going to be great. I mean, they were great, and that's why I was comfortable DMing them. But Darby Live is really special. And I think even that Andrade match at Dynasty, it's like the way Darby moves is so special. And I know a lot of people compare him to Jeff Hardy. And at least I mean, most of my friends don't like wrestling. And if you bring up wrestling to them, they'll somehow mention Jeff Hardy.
Yeah,
And I think Darby has that. Like, it's too cool to not realize it's awesome. Like Mick Foley was like that. You're
yeah,
you're too good at doing whatever you're doing for anyone to not acknowledge that you're the shit. And I think Darby is the shit. And so he's fighting Tommaso Ciampa on Wednesday for the championship, and you can go, Jesus, a championship match already? But I know he's going to kill it.
yeah. And Tabasco or Tomasco, he's gonna let, so I think he'll kill.
Tapatio.
Tabasco.
Yeah, I always have a hard time with this fucking name. That guy, Tommaso, Tomasky, whatever.
Yeah,
Yeah.
tomato, tomato.
So yeah. So an interesting week. I mean, in ways it was worse than I thought. In ways it was better than I thought. So I guess you could say it happened. My friend goes, I just want them to go out of business. And I said to them, they could literally put on 30 shitty WrestleManias. They're not going to go out of business. Chuck Palumbo could main event the next 5 WrestleManias.
That's a deep cut.
And you know what? CM Punk's match ensured that the clock has reset because that match, people are going to buy tickets for WrestleMania in 2 years because they want the hopes we're going to see another match like that. So, it is
Absolutely.
just there's always going to be a WrestleMania, I guess. Guys.
Yeah, no, there's one thing that WWE does probably better than anyone. They'll give you that one thing, that one moment, that one big time match that makes you want to come back. It's almost like an abusive relationship for people.
Yeah.
People
Absolutely, man.
they hate it so much, and then they do
Such a
that
pretty
one
lady.
thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, that one thing, and then you're like, well, now I gotta watch Raw to see what happens. And then you do, and even if the Raw's not that great, you're like, well, Sol Rook is here, so I'll stick around. That's just kind of what they do. Not to quote Triple
Maybe
H, than what we do.
let me keep watching. Yeah. What are you going to do? All right. Let's reset the clock. Let's talk about when life made sense. All right. None of this fucking PKO bullshit. Talk in the summer of '98, SummerSlam '98. That's what we're going to be reviewing for the rest of the show. Scott, usually the show is just me going through all the pay per views in history, reviewing them. But, I like to do some current events, obviously, WrestleMania weekend. Um, Before we get into it, overall, we'll start with you, Scott. What were your thoughts on the show overall?
All right. So, this is August of 1998, correct?
Yes.
So I had just turned 8 years old.
Wow. Okay. Damn, you're
And
young.
yeah, and I didn't watch this live. But the poster was ingrained in my memory. You're a New York guy. Are we all New York guys? I don't know, but I'm a New Jersey guy, and like it felt like I would take the bus in by the time I was like 11, and then I always kind of felt like I identified with New York, and the poster meant the world to me growing up. It was Stone Cold and The Undertaker doing King Kong versus Godzilla in the heart of Manhattan. I think it's one of the coolest wrestling posters ever. And as a whole, I think there's two really special matches on this card. and then a bunch of what we forget the Attitude Era actually was.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
Uh, Kyle, your overall thoughts on the show?
I was. Are we all giving our ages? 98. I can't even remember. I think 12. It was just a 12. And I remember the poster. I remember Highway to Hell. I remember the music video. All that missing from the Netflix version because of course it is.
Oh, I had a Daily Motion this.
Oh, you're smarter than me. You got the real deal. I watched the Netflix one. They cut out all the cool AC/DC, which you think Vince would have paid for, but that guy.
Is ICP still on the Netflix? Because on the
They're
DVD
on
version,
there, but there's no intro. It gets to the
They
cuts to the
cut
match
the
immediately.
Wow.
it was on the DVD. They do the whole song on the DVD.
Yeah, no, they not anymore. No, overall, I thought the show was fine. I mean, Triple H Rock. I remember that Triple H already having the longest match of the night, but Triple H and Rock, it was probably the best match of the night. You had Austin Undertaker, probably their best showing. I know they kind of have an up and down history whenever there's just the two of them one on one. The big surprise for me of the night, well, it's the first match, so we'll get into it. D'Lo and Val Venus was like
They were fighting
really,
for the future. They were they were
yeah.
they were fighting to be where CM Punk and Jericho are right now, and they
It's
failed. But
it's
they
a
were fighting.
damn shame that by 2002, both of them are just like,
They
ugh.
were they were being like, you got to make us Brett and Sean, and it didn't happen. But on this night, they were fighting for it.
Yeah, no, it's if
They were
there's one
fighting.
thing to go back and watch that's not a big main event, it's that match. But yeah, no, there are ups and downs, of
Yeah.
course. It's Attitude Era stuff, but that match really shocked me. And just based off the WWE pay-per-views we've been watching all summer, this is probably the best one out of all of them.
Critique your thoughts overall, and then we'll get
I
into
was
match by
going
match.
into this worried about the undercard not holding up, but there were a lot of good bright spots on the undercard, and a couple matches surprised me with how much I enjoyed them. Certainly, I tapered my expectations for some of the Attitude Era stuff, but I don't know, like the Lions Den match surprised me. I was thoroughly entertained by that. I think one
Yeah.
good thing which
So,
we've talked about is Vince knows how to pace the show really well, especially back then.
mhm, yeah. So I have a real personal connection to the show because this was the first pay-per-view I went to. I was there live. I'm the hard camera. I'm facing that, so I'm facing the entrance where I sat. And this, you were in Chicago, obviously, right?
Yeah.
And you guys were younger. I was 17. Wrestling was never hotter in New York City than the summer of '98. Maybe in the '70s or the '60s when Bruno was defending the belt. Maybe in the '80s when you were doing coke with the Hulkster at the fucking bar across the street from the Garden. I don't know. I was a little kid, but I can tell you that fucking wrestling was on fire that summer. Everyone was talking about it. It was not when I started high school. If you talked about wrestling, you were seen as a fucking idiot. But I'm entering my senior year this summer. It was the coolest fucking thing to everyone. Everyone loved it.
Yeah, man.
And the other reason why this show is special to me is this is the first show you can hear it on the DVD. I think you can probably hear it on Netflix, where the crowd is just like, we're not booing this guy anymore. We're cheering The Rock now. It's over. He's our fucking guy. And it started in my section. At the beginning of the match, my section starts chanting for him. And the rest of the arena looks at us like we're lunatics. By the time he hits the people's elbow on the ladder, the whole arena is now chanting Rocky, Rocky for the first time in years. And it never goes back. He basically becomes who he becomes. And it starts this night. So to me, this show has a lot of meaning. It was like a big moment in my life. And I think it's a big moment in The Rock's life, quite frankly. And look where he is now, and look where Triple H is now, cheating on Stephanie. So it worked out for everybody.
All right, that's not confirmed. Stop.
I'm loving
Put
these
that
little.
out there.
Scott, what do you think? You think he's cheated?
Oh, I mean, well, yeah, he's obviously cheated, but it's something that like gets Stephanie off even more. So it's like it's a win-win. But Yeah, so this match, and also historically, this is the match that everybody talks about from this pay-per-view. If there's a Rock DVD, if there's a Triple H DVD, this is on it. This is one of the things that made their careers. If I'm Triple H, I'm hanging on to this match and acting like I'm what Foley did to Triple H, which is like, I made this guy. And that's not true, but wow, were we full on believers of The Rock after this? And I'm kind of glad you pointed it out because there is like this Bret Austin. It is kind of like Bret and Austin where the the Rock isn't The Rock yet, but by the end of it, he is. He is. He's there.
Happens in real time during the match.
Yes, it's very Bret and Austin.
Yeah, and it was crazy to be alive because it was my best friend John when we left the arena. I remember like they start because Rock started being pushed as a face after the show, and I said to him, "Do you think that we turned the Rock face? Like because there was literally like four people near us that started the Rock chants like when the match started, and he's yeah, I think that we turned him face. I think we just like nah, he's face now. Like this is what we're doing, and you know." But like, yeah, man, it was because of who he became. I mean, you know, maybe if we all did this for Jeff Jarrett, and then like obviously that was weird that we all Jeff Jarrett, but because he does become the biggest star in the world to the point where he could probably show up on SmackDown Friday and change everything around. And it starts here. It means a lot. It means a lot that I was there. It's you know like people. I don't know anyone can say I was there when Bruno won the title, but I feel like this is the equivalent of being there when Bruno won the title. You know,
At this point, the
you know what I'm
SmackDown
saying?
might
Like
need The
it's a big
Rock. They
turning
don't.
point.
They don't got nobody. The Rock, who's will be very invested
Oh
somehow,
my
will be
god!
there. The Rock chooses Hank and Tank for SmackDown. You're like, oh my god, great. But no, this was the match. This was the turning point in both people's careers. I know it's cool to hate on
Mhm.
Triple H and act like he has never done anything in the ring in his career ever, but it took the two of them to do it, and the two of them delivered and
Yeah.
got themselves to that extra level that using them again, D'Lo Brown and Val Venus didn't get to, and they had a damn good match too. So this was it though for them.
So let's go match by match because I do want to talk about Val Venus, D'Lo Brown. So we're gonna start with that. That's the first opening match. Val Venus, D'Lo Brown. While sitting there in the arena, I said to my friend, I swear to God, I think these two are going to be the next big main eventers. That's what I said, and that was the consensus in the arena that day. This is the I love the match. I think the match is great. It's probably the best moment of Val Venus's life. He should fucking. He probably rewatches it every night, getting drunk hysterically that I could have been something. Here's the moment though, rewatching it now, and it's where I'm like, I think this guy was fucked. D'Lo tries to do the running power bomb, and he almost drops Val, and then he does it again, and he hits it. It's not that good, and that is the move that paralyzes draws. And
I was just gonna say, yeah.
I'm wondering if somebody said because I would have said to him, "Stop doing that move. You almost kill Val Venus, and you guys are supposed to be Brett and Sean." Because my thing with D'Lo would be like, because we know Brock is coming in 3 years. Can you? Okay, we make you the world champion. Can you do that move to Brock Lesnar at WrestleMania, or are you gonna fucking drop him halfway through? Because I think you're gonna drop him halfway through, and we're gonna look like fucking idiots for booking D'Lo Brown versus Brock Lesnar at WrestleMania.
I
Um,
mean, I think it was fate for Brock Lesnar to land on his head at WrestleMania.
No, no, but I'm just saying that like D'Lo couldn't do that. If we're gonna be serious in an alternate reality where we get serious about D'Lo Brown, he can't do that to Batista. He can't do that to Cena. He can't. He just can't do it. It's just gonna look stupid. He's probably gonna kill one of these guys. But he kept doing it until look what happened. So the match is great for these two guys. It's a big what if. But you know, now that I know more about these guys that are older now, I just don't think they had it in them. Especially Val Venus is a fucking lunatic. I just don't think they had it in them to be what they thought they were going to be. But hey, on this night, listen, you have a great match at the Garden. I guess that's something. Not a lot, not a lot of people can say that. Scott, what do you think of this match?
Yeah, man, this match made me realize like what could have been. I think these are two action figures I had as a kid when they were still like rubbery and they weren't the LJNs or whatever the hell, but they were like, little tiny rubbery bullshit figures. And the Val Venus gimmick, there's a ceiling. You can't be the porn star in the main event. You just can't. You have to drop it at some point. But the thing about D'Lo is, as a kid, I thought he was amazing, and again, he's because of my age, he was the first person I saw do a frog splash. And so when I'm rewatching this match and realizing how good he was or could have been, I think like the biggest flaw with D'Lo is he wasn't in ECW, like or he wasn't in WCW. Like the problem was WWE kind of wasn't looking for that, but they put him in the slot, but it was the Attitude Era, so it had to be lame. And where like what I mean is if they had a cruiserweight division legitimately, D'Lo would have been like having some amazing matches, but instead I can't tell you an amazing D'Lo match.
Yeah,
And
he
and
had some good ones though. He has to go with X Pac in 2 months on at Judgment Day. So
oh, I believe you, but I just think again, if like they made it a division heavy thing and they focused on it like WCW was at the time, we'd be talking. We'd be, dude. I mean, like the fact that I'm like Billy Kidman is awesome, but I don't say D'Lo Brown is awesome is kind of unfortunate. D'Lo
yeah,
Brown is dope, and the only reason we don't talk about him is WWE really didn't have a space for talent like that. It was like you're either in the main event or you're gonna get like a swirly in a segment on Raw.
Yeah.
I also think because he said this and Jim Ross agrees with him. He said I think he was on Jim Ross bar. He said two careers died that night when Ross got paralyzed. His and mine because I was never the same and
Right.
it's like we knew it and that's why we kind of stopped pushing him. And I kind of feel like it'd be like 2 years ago, Oba Femi like breaks Ethan Page's neck and he's paralyzed. We don't see Oba at WrestleMania. It's just like I think Oba is in TNA right now, fucking feuding with Santana or something
With
because
Moose, yeah.
you know,
Yeah.
yeah. So it's. I think they were getting to a point where they were gonna like get more serious with him, and then when he did that, it's just like he was dead. His mind was never the same. You know. Kyle, what you think of the match, buddy?
Yeah, no, I've been talking about it like it's Okada Omega, but no, I really enjoyed it. I think because I did not expect it from these two. We've watched a lot of these pay-per-views, and you're like, oh no, not like it's gonna be a weird one. But 1998 was a different time for Val Venus and D'Lo Brown, and despite the disqualification ending, they really delivered with a good match that the fans were into. And it's we know what happened with D'Lo. Definitely lost his confidence after that horrible, horrible tragedy. And like you were saying before, Val Venus had a ceiling, and they tried making him. Did he like feud with The Rock at some point,
He
like
feud with the
'99?
mind. He had a match with Stone Cold on SmackDown where he kind of and like, but like I think Stone Cold just annihilated him in the match, and
Yeah.
you know.
Like they tried to make him something else. They tried Chief Morley. They tried Right to Censor. Just after a while, he just was kind of like how some of the wrestlers are on WWE today. You see somebody for so long and they don't do anything. You don't care anymore. And I just saw one of those like wrestling flashback videos where like I guess Triple H said put somebody in the ring with Val Venus and like they're like if you don't have a good match with Val, then you don't have a good match with anybody. They appreciated him as a good hand, but they never saw anything more than that character for him. And that's just where his ceiling was, and D'Lo's ceiling was the unfortunate incident. I went on Cage Match for a second, and they have like a little career highlight section. I'm never on Cage Match except for this podcast, and they kind of I want to see if it's us or it's them or people always get mad about something. And all of his match highlights are TNA. They're all of his like matches you must watch are TNA, which is interesting. So maybe D'Lo had a resurgence, and maybe if we do get to the TNA pay-per-views, maybe we can see it then. Maybe he had a resurgence in like 2003, 2004. But
They did
this
also wrestle in Japan back.
he did. So maybe he got some of his back. 'Cause I know
Hmm.
they brought him back and then he did jack all. He did absolutely
Yeah,
nothing. But this was great for them. I wish they had better careers because they're definitely two memorable characters. I had the figures. They were in all the games. The chest protector is still talked about to this day, as is all of Val Venus's choppy moments and all that stuff. It just that was their ceiling, and it sucks. But at least they had some good matches.
critique. Give me your review of this one.
I mean, again, like I think part of what was great about the Attitude Era was the strength of the mid card. These guys could put on a good match. The crowd was into it. It was a good opening match. I think one of the what we've kind of noticed with some of these Attitude Era pay per views, sometimes the opener is whatever, but this was a really solid opening match for the pay per view. I think it's one of those things with D'Lo where if just if the timing was different and maybe like Benoit and Guerrero had come in a bit sooner and he'd gotten to do better matches with them or more matches with them, it might have things would have gone differently. Because yeah, like we've already talked about, his confidence was never the same. I haven't really watched too much of his TNA run. I'll have to go back and do that because I was a big fan of D'Lo as a kid too. Again, they said build from Chicago. Whether or not that's true or not, I don't know for sure. But no, nobody can rock a chest protector like D'Lo. And then I remember when I got WWF Attitude, the video game. I remember playing him. He was one of like the first people I started playing with in the video game. So I was always a big D'Lo fan. Again, that there was something about the head waggle. Like he just it was very entertaining when he came down to the ring. And then he would put on good matches. So yeah, there was no reason why he couldn't have, you know, gotten like the big belt once. Or if they had, I think wasn't there a rumor maybe he was gonna win a King of the Ring one of the years? Maybe like 99. I know 99 is a one where there was like Big Show at one point was talked about, a badass one. Yeah.
Yeah, no, I don't think I don't know. I never really heard that he was going to get a big push. I always thought he was, and then like and then the draws thing kind of like he went away.
That was 99,
Um,
right?
Yeah,
Or was that
in the
October.
night,
I'm looking at it
yeah,
now. It's literally sorry that happens. He has maybe a couple more matches on SmackDown, and then it's jacked heat, jacked heat, jacked heat, like
yeah.
a squash on SmackDown, jacked heat. Like he barely sniffs Raw again.
yeah. What are you gonna do?
Yeah.
All right. Up next, the oddities with ICP versus Kyantai. Who has turned heel? Man, the one thing I'll say about this match, I tried to like it. I just got annoyed that they got Earthquake back and they're wasting him like this. I'm like, bro, Earthquake is so fucking iconic. There's still they had a thing of the new figures coming out at WrestleMania. They're still making Earthquake figures.
Oh yeah, I saw that.
Yeah, and they're dressing this guy as Golga. This was a very like I got the sense, dude, that this was like a very 70s comedy match, like where a midget would fight like a regular guy. I feel like they were doing like a lot of old school spots. Um, it was it was the worst match of the show. I don't know. I just feel like what a waste of Kai and Tai. I mean, at least it wasn't. I feel like because I don't know if you ever do you guys remember when Lars Sullivan fought the Lucha House Party and he just like literally destroyed them? At
I
least here,
do.
like yeah, at least here the Kai and Tai got a little offense and they got to swarm the guys and they weren't made to look like complete idiots. But at the same time, it just was like so like hacky and old and it didn't hold up. Scott, what do you think, man?
Well, yeah, I mean, I think you kind of said it as a kid because of the way they were presented. I thought Kai and Tai was hacky. I thought it was stupid, and it was the comedy portion of the show, and this is clearly what it was. But as you get older, you go, oh, these guys are, the guys in Kai and Tai are really, Taka Michinoku is insanely talented in the ring. And when you find that out, you feel like you've been cheated when you watch Kai and Tai matches. You feel like you've been duped, like someone robbed you. Like, wait, you can paint like an expert, but instead you threw paint at my wall. Uh yeah, I mean that's my only complaint is I'm an adult now and I know how good these guys actually are.
Yeah.
Otherwise, as a kid, yeah, this was exactly what I wanted and needed from these people because they were jokes. They were presented as jokes.
Yeah, and I just don't know, like, I don't know why you brought back Earthquake and did this with him. And I don't know what the whole thing is with South
Well,
Park.
because they thought Earthquake was, I don't. Again, I only respect Earthquake because people like Mike Lawrence, so like he sent me that figure. That's the only reason I know about it because he's like, I might buy this. Like, there's certain people who like Earthquake, but to me, Earthquake is a joke. It's a
Hmm.
funny bit. It's like it's a gobbledygooker WrestleMania 17 Battle Royal moment.
Yeah, 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 yeah. No, Earthquake, you gotta watch some of Earthquake's 1990 stuff. He does have pretty good matches, you know?
I've heard.
Yeah, it's just he was capable of better, but he would constantly get put into bullshit, and you're like, oh, what is this? And then Natural Disasters had some good matches actually. Now I
Mhm.
think 92, 93, yeah. But Kyle, what you think?
WWE comedy match, the kind of fun that Triple H doesn't like was not on this show. Was on this show. It's one of those things, and they still do it to this day. They'll get these amazing wrestlers from Mexico, from Japan, from all over, and they're just put in these weird spots. And Kai and Tai is like that to a lesser extent. Julia is like that right now. She's not necessarily doing comedy, but she's not doing
Mm,
living up to her potential as a wrestler, as a superstar, as they like to say. It's just something that they love to do. I don't understand it. Ultimo Dragon was another one. Though you mentioned the Lucha House Party, my God, like Grand Metalik was one of the best, and still is one of the best wrestlers in the world. And there he is, can barely win a match. Sin Cara was kind of a mix of both, but he's
mhm,
better now as Mystico.
Yes.
It's just something that they do, and I don't understand it. I don't know if it's a humbling thing. I don't know if it's a barrier thing, or they just don't get it. It sucks to see that, and it's a weird that it still happens. As for Earthquake, yeah, go. I mean, South Park was popular. South Park
I
at
know.
that time was huge, like right in rivaling WWE. South Park was huge, 97, 98, even to the 2000s. South Park was insane. So I guess they were like, let's just make him this guy who likes Cartman. I don't know. Maybe they just thought Earthquake as a character in the Attitude Era just would not fit. Or maybe WCW did so much damage to John Tenta. Would you be able to take him seriously if the guy who was the shark with half a fucking hair all of a sudden can beat up Stone Cold Steve Austin? I mean, that's for the writers to make happen, but would you take him seriously as a fan? So I think they put the mask on him and did this ICP stuff, and he got some money from it, which I guess was nice. The sad part about Earthquake was he's no longer with us. He was so young. He was young there. It's him and like Boss Man, who's not back yet, but they were so young, and like they both just left us way too soon. Because Earthquake is somebody that you could see in like a 2019 Royal Rumble, 2018. You're like, oh shit, and he still looks like he belongs. So that sucks. But this match was the clown match that they like to do, the comedy, the Vince McMahon comedy. Uh, not a great use for most of the people involved, except for maybe Giant Silva, who couldn't move that well, and it was short. It actually
Yep.
wasn't short. It was like 10 minutes, but it didn't make me want to turn off the TV. Let's put it that way.
Critique, what you think?
Yeah, I mean, to me, this was, the time capsule kind of attitude era comedy match. I would have shaved off a few minutes, probably could have kept it a little tighter. Again, yeah, like we've talked about, I believe, yeah, Vince was trying to capitalize on the South Park momentum. I think they were like head to head in retailers like WWF and South Park. So he was trying like, okay, let's stick it to him. We'll have Cartman on the show. I remember Attitude, WWF Attitude, the video game had Kurgan as a playable character with the theme, so Kurgan stands out to me a little bit as well. I believe he does stunts now, or he did for a while. He's a little older now. I know for a while he was
He's like a
involved in
big actor, isn't he?
big
Like John
actors.
Wick
Yeah,
and stuff.
And still
yeah,
up.
he was in Wick and a couple other moves. To me, the sad part of this match is just Taka Michinoku. Like, two pay-per-views ago, he was kind of like getting a push, and he was feuding with with Kai and Tai. I think it was like headbangers and him in a 3-6-on-6 or a 6-man tag, and so and then you saw the lightweight championship at the Mania 40. So there was some attempt to push him, and I just don't know what they maybe this was Russo booking or just Vince didn't see him. Again, Vince and foreign wrestlers. Both Vinces and foreign wrestlers. And correct me if I'm wrong. Trivia here. I think Shane McMahon did the dubbing for Kai and Tai.
That doesn't happen yet, though. We still got that happens in a few years.
It's
It's
coming.
either
Yeah,
Shane or Bruce Pritchard. They keep going
somebody
back
was
and
doing
forth.
the dubbing, but
Which is the thing that got them over. Go figure.
that's what I'm saying.
Crazy, right? Yeah.
It
Go
kind of
figure.
worked, but no, yeah, I still think there was some mileage with Taka Michinoku as a single star, and I wish they had pursued that again. Maybe if once we had the influx of some of the WCW guys, or Kurt Angle, and then you could have had a bit more of a run for Taka. But yeah, it's a shame that he kind of went straight to comedy. I think there was more mileage with him, but
Yeah.
You know what you could have done with Earthquake? Sorry to go back to him.
yeah.
The attitude, because I remember we were talking about it with Bam Bam if he ever re-signed with WWF, which did not happen.
Oh,
All those Vince McMahon guys that were could have been the corporation guys. They used it for Boss Man. All those 80s stars that Vince made, those 80s giants, could have been his heavies for the fight Stone Cold or The Undertaker or Kane. And then you could have had at least some type of a decent match, instead
That
of
would have
putting
been
them on the
interesting.
mask.
He brings in like Doink and Earthquake and Bam Bam and King Kong Bundy as like his gang. Like
Yeah,
these are
all these,
these big guys, yeah, just
yeah, like
what
Matt
if,
Bourne doink. I know he kind of was off the deep end, I think, at the time, but
well, like he also brings in like I don't want this attitude era. I want my cartoons. So he
yeah,
brings like Doink and fucking Duke the Dumpster Drose. Like this whole like
oh man,
garbage.
obviously they get destroyed like foot soldiers,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
it would have been interesting.
That's a good idea. We gotta pitch that to Triple H. Hey, what about
He brings
you
back
know?
Chris Masters and Carlito and
yeah.
Oh,
all the
that,
Ruthless Aggression favorites.
that would be good. I've always had this idea. Scott, are you in the comics or no?
Comic books? I have too many, and please sell them for me. My
Oh, okay,
uncle
all right.
showed up
But
with
I always had this like
500 comic books.
Jesus. I got rid of all my comics when I moved here. I had so many, bro. Jesus. But I always had
Dude,
this idea for a wrestler to have his own Sinister Six. Like there's like a faction just based on a wrestler, and it's like all these big names. And I kind of think CM Punk would be an interesting guy to have like a Sinister Six, like a faction go after.
oh, sure. I think the problem with CM Punk, and again, this is like, I think CM Punk is, if I'm being honest about like wrestlers who have affected my life, he's top two, and I'm probably lying. He
Hmm.
might be number one. Like in terms of affecting my life as I was a child and growing older, like he's my guy. Um, but I think the problem with him having a Sinister Six or even having a legitimate storyline is you actually know who he likes. And so it's kind of tough for WWE to commit to something with him where it's like, these are your five best friends when you know two of them are like on the indies or work at AEW. Like, Brody King is CM Punk's best friend. Like, it feels like.
I mean, they're after him. They're not with him. They're after him because his Spider-Man.
Oh, okay. Oh, yeah. Then yeah, everybody's allowed to go after Punk. Yeah, he's the guy. He's
You got
Miles Morales.
Yeah, you get like Hangman Page, the former Sinister Six. There you
Yeah, yeah.
go.
Let's see him in the
Or if
WWE.
Jericho had come back, that would have been the perfect thing.
If only Jericho went back. I kind of wish he did, man.
Hey,
Yeah,
he wants to make bald jokes. I'm not gonna get on him. If this works, it works for him.
If yeah,
I
I hope so.
if he's
I think he
happy
just
or
got a shitty deal from WWE. I think they literally just wanted to retire him, and he was like,
Yeah.
"No."
no.
Oh, dude,
Not one.
especially if you think about like Triple H, Paul Levesque, whatever you want to call him. I mean, us as fans, for as long as we've been fans, you know who he likes and who he doesn't like. He does not like Chris Jericho.
Mm-mm.
So why would you sign up for that? Just to be kind of disrespected on your way out?
Yeah,
hmm
I think he
Because
knew.
Yeah, I don't know if you guys remember, but like the whole Save Us Y2J thing back in like maybe 15 years ago, where he was returning and the gimmick was like, Save us, Y2J.
Yeah.
Triple H and HBK were like actively shitting on that backstage, being like, Save us from what? Save us
From
from you two. The show sucks. That's what save us from.
yeah,
They even further than that. I think the infamous press, not even infamous, the famous Festival of Friendship, Triple H did not get, and they were like clashing up
Wow.
until the show, according
I
to
that's
did not
true.
know
Jericho.
Yeah,
that.
the turn,
Yeah,
he didn't like the way that play, and that was the perfect way to play it out too.
Oh,
yeah,
it's so good. Yeah.
yeah, and they were
Wow.
clashing up. But I think Vince had to like step. Vince wasn't there. I think they had to call Vince and like make it happen the way Jericho wanted. Otherwise, it would have been
Wow.
different. So like,
Wow.
I just think those two never got along creatively. I know they've done a couple podcasts together. I don't think they've ever gotten along creatively. And AEW is just going to be his place,
Yeah,
which, no,
and
Yeah.
that's Tony Khan
Jericho,
did. So.
I think Jericho wants to retire winning, like Sting did, and that's not going to happen in WWE. I don't think Jericho should retire winning, but I think that's what he wants. So you know,
He'll
uh,
retire on the cruise.
yeah, he's going to be winning in the cruise. Okay, so here we go. It is X Pac versus Jeff Jarrett in a hair versus hair match. Um, so this is gone. And if we still had network, I would have made you guys watch the Sunday. So the Sunday Night Heat in this era basically is the first hour of the pay per view. They like there were a ton of matches. Dustin Rhodes has a match. CLOD has a match. Bradshaw turns on Vader. Um, Sable, Shawn Michaels comes out and does commentary. It's like an all star fucking hour of TV. And on the show, Jeff Jarrett shaves Finkel's head, which is why he's not the announcer, which bummed me because I wanted to hear Finkel live at the Garden, and then he wasn't there. So Finkel comes out with X Pac, and the whole reason they pitched this is Jeff Jarrett wanted to shave his head in solidarity with his wife, who was going through cancer treatments at the time. So then
Amazing.
they don't shave his head; they just give him a crew cut. So at the end of the match, like Jeff Jarrett's looks looked improved 1,000% because he lost this fucking match. So it's like the whole thing on a hair versus hair match, you get humiliated. No, this guy just got a great haircut and was more marketable after this. The match is fine. It's very like Memphis. It's very Jeff Jarrett. X Pac though, he does feel like he's getting back in the groove. He seemed the last few shows he seemed a little out of step. Um, Finkel coming out as part of DX, funny to me. I think looking back, it kind of makes X Pac look like a dork. It's fine. It's just that it would have been better if they just shaved his whole head off. Like if they had a professional barber there to shave, like they did with Vince at WrestleMania 23. But other than that, it's fine. It's not the worst. It's like everything with Jeff Jarrett. It's not the best. It's not the worst. It's just mid as hell. What'd you think, Scott?
Well, yeah, I mean, I think that's the answer. It's mid as hell, and you're right. I've always WWE does this the most, where it's like, oh, it's hair versus hair, and it's very obvious that whoever's going to lose their hair is going to benefit from it visually. Like, yeah, Kurt Angle is actually going to look better without hair because his hair is receding, and so you know who's going to win, you know who's going to lose. And this is the opposite of what Mexico would do.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's what it felt like. And again, I've never been a Jarrett guy, and I kind of wish I was because I love TNA. I love TNA when Jarrett was in charge. But
hmm
even when he was in charge, I hated the fact that he was the main event. I
yeah,
watched it for the X division.
Mm-hmm.
yeah. He. Those shows are so fire until he walks out, and then it's like W 2000 again.
Oh yeah, and it's and we all know it. It's like Austin did not he would not fight Jarrett. He was not going to have a feud with fucking Jeff Jarrett. And the moment you hear that and he's the most over guy, it's a wrap for him. It's like, all right, go somewhere else. Because the guy we love doesn't even want to have a moment with you in the ring. He thinks you're the shits.
And but he was kind of right. He was kind of right.
Sure. Oh, sure.
Yeah, yeah. It's just very mid, and like then you have like the loser squad come out, the headbangers, draws. I mean, rest in peace, draws. I'm just saying, it's just like, ugh. And I feel like X Pac needed something cooler to like get him going again. I don't know, you know.
Oh, strong agree. And I mean, again, because the 1, 2, 3 kid is one of the coolest characters in wrestling ever. I still look back at it and I love it. It's like a kid in wrestling and he's making his way through and holy shit, he had an amazing match with Bret Hart and blah blah blah. And then it's like it quickly becomes who is this drug addict? How do we just get him help?
Yeah.
It's like
Uh,
it's watching a child star decline every week.
yeah. He's not there yet. He's gonna be there in 2001, but he's not there
Right.
yet. He's still
Oh, he's there. It's just we haven't seen it yet.
yeah,
But
exactly.
he's seen it. Yeah.
Oh yeah, him and Scott Hall and I'm sure in the Nitros were like eating Quaaludes like they're candy. Uh, Kyle, what'd you think of X Pac, Jeff Jarrett? I know Jeff Jarrett's your favorite wrestler, so.
Oh yeah, big Jeff Jarrett fan. Although I did try and beat WrestleMania 2000 with him. I remember that, the season mode. And I
Mm,
like, if you lose the Royal, you can win every match, but if you lose the Royal Rumble, you don't get like a WrestleMania shot. So I think they made me fight like not Undertaker, somebody just really random. And China got the world title shot. And I was so pissed off. I was like, fuck this
That's
game.
wild.
I won every match except for this one.
China,
Um,
China getting the world title shot would have been a better than the fucking four-way main event that they did. So they probably should have done that.
Hey, you're not wrong. But no, this match was fine. You opened my eyes to the quote loser squad, end quote. Because then my mind went back to WrestleMania 10, how that tag team didn't get to go, that match didn't get to go on because Shawn Michaels and Razor Ramon went too long. But then they were all in the ring for Bret Hart to like help him celebrate. So maybe that was their extra reward for Shawn Michaels bullshit, like Hardcore Holly and them were able to celebrate with Bret Hart and get on the card because they got snubbed by because of Shawn Michaels and Razor Ramon's like amazing match. So that's like a weird brain thing that just happened. Was like, well, oh, maybe that was good for them. But yeah, I think the match was fine. It is the best Jeff Jarrett's ever looked. Also worked out great for Kurt Angle. I'm trying to think of somebody didn't who lost a hair versus hair match that it didn't work out for. I can't off the top of my head. I can't think of right now. I know people want Dominic to do one, but that mean
For you, they don't do it. They just don't. They don't go down that
yeah,
road.
like
Mm.
Adrian Adonis like retired afterwards.
Mm. Well, then he also died in a car accident. So.
Yeah, that
Mm.
did happen. It was a downer, obviously. But no, this match was yeah. I mean, X-Pac was getting back into the groove. I do agree that the 1, 2, 3 kid was like an incredible way to debut somebody. And some of these, for somebody who's such a student of history, Triple H and things like that, you can redo some of these things, especially if it was something done in 1993 that we just don't do anymore. We just don't do it as much, or the momentum goes away so quickly. I think the last time they really did that with a newcomer was if you guys were watching NXT in 2001, Leon Ruff was he's one of the Aja Smith, Daphne LaShawn's husband. He came into NXT and he's this scrawny little black kid who just got his ass beat. And then like he won matches and then won the North American Championship. You're like, oh shit. Because people want to get behind an underdog like the 1, 2, 3 kid, and that carries you for a long time. It carried him as a kid. People liked Six because you watched the kid like a child actor. You watched him mature a bit, carried him into X-Pac until X-Pac just wasn't cool anymore, for multiple reasons. So I wish they did do stuff like that again. But this match was fine. Like you said, it got us the Jeff Jarrett that we all know now. The don't piss me off Jarrett. Although if you had the action figure, it said "Don't make me mad" because you couldn't put piss on
Uh,
on a child toys
mhm.
shirt. It would say "Don't make me mad" on the shirt. So nobody made me mad with this match.
Critique. What do you think of this match?
Again, like it got the job done. I'm happy for X-Pac finding his groove again. I think we're all collectively X-Pac 1, 2, 3 Kid fan. And yeah, I don't know why they're not trying to do that with stars. I'm trying to feel maybe like when CM Punk came back and he picked Darby Allin in AEW. I thought that kind of had shades of Brett and 1, 2, 3 Kid. That's probably the closest thing I can think of. But yeah, this match was fine. The hair versus hair. I think the only other hair versus hair thing I can think of is the Sonya Deville Mandy Rose, but that got derailed because then there was a real life thing with the stalker and she was going to court. So
Which,
that
by
kind of
the way, people leave these fucking women alone. Cora
yes,
Jade, Alanya Black, AJ Lee and Bailey just now. Leave these
they
fucking
had some
women alone, man. What is wrong with you?
Yeah,
Yeah,
super weird.
go bother some female comics. They
aren't
don't.
like fans like buying tickets to go past like security now at the airport too. Like it's becoming
Very weird. Yeah.
very bizarre.
It's really weird behavior, and but like, dude, female wrestling fans, women on the internet in general, have very, very weird men become very obsessed with them. It's like it's kind of scary, you know?
Yeah, I
It's
mean,
kind
look
of
at
Course,
any
yeah.
comment of a female comic, whether you think the women's comic is funny or not, personally, just the comments that they get compared to a comment that I would get or you guys would get are just baffling, no matter what it is.
Yeah.
yeah,
Mhm.
yeah. Pratik, what do you think of this match?
Yeah, the match was serviceable. I think it was what like 10 minutes. I'm not. I'm 5 out of 10. It did the job. It got. Again, yeah, I can't name any memorable Jeff Jarrett match. The only thing I remember about Jeff Jarrett is when Ben Stiller got in the ring and wanted Deborah's chesticles. That's all I remember. And then I think he hit him with the guitar, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, but
Yeah,
and then I think Jeff Jarrett hit Beetlejuice from Howard Stern with the
yeah,
guitar.
that is coming up, and that was a good moment. But
That's
Jeff
all I remember is him hitting celebrities in the head with the guitar, but no
on
memorable.
Jeff Jarrett's podcast, he treats that Beetlejuice moment like he fucking won the title. So,
It's like Mr. T at Mania 1. Like, no, it's not that memorable.
dude,
I kind of like that Attitude Era theme song he had with like the little bit of a remix to his theme. That was fine.
enough. That's a good one.
Yeah.
The one down, 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 down. That's a good like
Yeah.
old song. Yeah,
Oh, I might have found one where he did not look as good, only because he had to film a movie. Chris Jericho and Kevin Nash was a hair versus hair match, and then
yeah,
Nash dyed his hair Punisher blonde
Oh
for the movie,
no.
and he looked
Ooh.
fucking terrible.
yeah. Nash needs long hair. All right. Speaking of someone who needs long hair, uh, the next match is Jacqueline and Mark Merrow versus Sable and Edge. This
Wait,
is
who needs the long hair? Mark Marrow.
needs long hair. He looks like
Oh
shit, right?
yes, absolutely.
Um, and this is Edge's first pay-per-view match ever. And it's with Sable. The craziest thing about this match to me, I don't remember it being like this. Sable is doing most of the work. There's like parts of the match where Mark Merrill and Jacqueline are like running, are like Sable's hitting one, she's hitting the other, or they're double teaming Sable, and Edge is kind of just standing there. Um, Sable hits a Hurricane Rana, which I forgot she did that. And then Edge wins. I'm waiting for Edge to hit a spear. And then I forgot his finishing move back then was the downward spiral, which he should bring back in AEW. That's dude. Next time he fights FTR, in the match with the downward spiral, everyone will go fucking nuts. Like he just did that. He's like, nah, I'm bringing it back. Fuck you. Um, this match, what I'll tell you what, this match is better than Stephanie Bequer versus Liv Morgan, which I was thought was an abomination. But this
Oh,
match
it wasn't that bad.
was a very interesting match because Sable in it a lot. She's doing a lot of shit. She's not a wrestler. She didn't like wrestling, but she's doing a lot of shit in it. Edge seemed a little nervous, but what he did was fine. It's an interesting match because it's I don't know. To me, it's interesting because again, people have this Scott like people have this narrative that Sable was just like, look at my tits every 20 seconds. And she was actually out there doing work, and people in the crowd are getting behind her. She's actually trying. And I know it's a lot of it's probably Mark Merrow telling her what to do, but she's actually trying. So I didn't mind it. It was certainly, like I said, it was better than Liv Morgan's match. What do you think, Scott?
Oh, I mean, I've said it so many times to people Sable would be acknowledged so much more in the
Mhm.
WWE if she wasn't married to Brock Lesnar.
Yeah.
Um, he is hiding her like Rapunzel, but she would literally be praised often, especially because Sunny cannot be praised anymore.
Yeah.
And so Sable would be an absolute icon. And in this moment, in this match, you notice it where no one's a veteran in it. And so therefore, Sable is given the most responsibility because who the fuck is Edge and who the fuck is anybody else in this match? The star is Sable. Again, this
Mhm.
is what, 1998. So it's like, yeah, the star is Sable. What is Sable going to do? And I kind of wish people focused in on moments like this because she was a star. She was
Yeah.
the dude. Sable is the first diva I know about. I didn't know about Sunny. I knew about Sable. And yeah, like I said it already, man. Lesnar has really he's Mother Goosed her. She is a princess in a fairy tale now because of a psychopath who lives on a farm. But this was peak Sable, and yeah, everybody else looked stupid, sure, but it was fun enough, I guess. But yeah, barely a
Yeah.
match. It's not a fucking match.
No, it's not. And Edge looked good a little bit. He did, and I'll tell you this, like we had a lot of suspicions that it might be somebody from WCW or a big surprise. And when it was Edge, we were all fine with it because we were all like, well, let's see what this guy has. So he got put in a situation that could have backfired, and I think he held his own. At least that night he did with the crowd, and I thought watching the show was like, okay, he's doing what he has to, you know.
Yeah, I'll also say about Edge because I've always thought he was great, and the rated R superstar thing was amazing. And if we're being honest, he's like top two feuds with Cena.
Yeah,
I also I always scratched my head at Edge because I don't think he was the best guy at any given moment in the company. Like I always thought he was
no,
the fifth best guy. And to the point where I'm like, are you sleeping with Vince? It's a little peculiar that even in this moment he's given a match with Sable. He's Sable's tag partner, and it's like, who the fuck are you? And then if you
yeah,
follow his career, it's like it's a lot of why are you put in this position? There's five guys better than you. But
hmm
Vince picked him. And I think it's homosexual behavior, obviously.
Well, I mean, when Edge retired, they were treating him. I mean, he got the send off of send offs. I mean, there was like 14 tribute shows to him, and
Sure.
I'm like, all right, this guy's good, but like, I mean, I was kind of getting sick of him. Not to be a dick, but I'm like, I could use a break from this guy because he seemingly always gets title shots, and we're told that he's the rated R superstar, and he doesn't really do anything. He just runs out and goes, "I want to beat you," and it's not like he's like, like stabbing women in the street or whatever. I don't know. It's like he's okay, but like, yeah, you're right. Like there was like this over push of him, and it starts here because, and I think that I don't know if it comes across to you guys, but in the arena at the time, him being Sable's partner to me was a signal that you need to keep your eye on this guy. He's going to be a big deal. It was kind of like an early signal, like, no, we're going to do something with him. Maybe not tomorrow, but soon. And we all kind of just accepted it. We all wanted, I'll tell you, we all wanted it to be like someone crazy, like Kevin Nash walks out or fucking Sabu. But it was Edge. So, and we were all fine with it. So that says something about him, you know? You know what I'm saying, Scott?
Oh, I know what you're saying. I keep looking back at Edge's career and I go, that could have been anybody.
Yeah, that's true. Could have been D'Lo. Could have been Val Venus.
Oh, oh, dude, it could have been Val. Val
Maybe
is,
not Val.
dude, it's Finkel as Einhorn, but it's Val as Edge.
Dude, Val Venus, he basically is the rated R superstar. He's fucking have making porn on his days off.
Oh yeah, and mind you, the whole rated R superstar thing is kind of based on the fact that he fucked his friend's girl behind his back.
Yeah,
It's very
but then he
Valvinus.
never, but then he never does any. Also, he married Val Venus's sister. You know that, right?
Wait,
His
what do
first
you?
wife was Val.
I was gonna say, yeah, not Beth Phoenix. You're talking about his first one, yeah.
Wait, is that
Yeah, his first.
true?
Hmm.
Yeah, on a cruise ship, and they fell in love, and then he married her. They brought it up on TV once.
Oh
Val
boy.
Venus said to him, "If you don't treat my," they brought, and I don't remember if it was Ross, but Val Venus broke character. Said, "If you don't treat my sister right, I'm gonna fucking destroy you." And I'm like, "Oh, they're gonna incorporate this to elevate both guys," and then they drop it. Like
Yeah.
Val,
Wow.
yeah.
So was it a
I
shoot then? That's why they kind of dropped it because it wasn't.
Well, yeah. Obviously, he hurt a lot more people than Val Venus's sister.
Yeah.
I
Yeah,
did
but
not know that. Wow.
yeah, Val Venus's sister was his first wife, so I guess those two. I guess that's why you're not going to see Val Venus in AEW, among many reasons. But
Wow.
you know, the Kyle, what did you think of the match?
Yeah, no, I thought the match. I think Edge was a good choice. They've been building him up for months. I think he had maybe a couple matches already. Yet this isn't before he like uh almost kills one of the Los Boricuas. This isn't his first match.
Oh,
This is like his third or something.
Los Boricuas, yeah.
Yeah,
And
not to say what happened.
they tried to paint it on TV like he's just so out of control. He ended
Yeah,
the
they did. They did. It's just like we don't know what to expect from this guy. It's like, well, maybe don't put him back in the rafters or wherever he was. He's
he
not
might
ready
kill
yet.
like fuck someone's sister. We don't know, but
Hey, we eventually he does.
yeah.
But yeah, no, Sable was the most popular person there. I think Jacqueline and Mark Merrow should get credit for the heavy lifting that they do as talent because Jacqueline can make almost anybody look good, and Mark Merrow was a good hand who also would have been a Stone Cold fodder, but Austin didn't want to fight him because he lost to Sable. He's like, you got pinned by a woman. Like, what would it look like if you fought me? Which,
Which kind of makes sense.
yeah, makes sense. I mean, oh well. Sorry, Mark. But no, I thought the match was fine. As for Edge's career, I think like 2006 to 2000, like those SmackDown years, you really had to be in those SmackDown trenches, especially when he was like the face of SmackDown to see like how he was like carrying the show. Because at that time, they didn't really have anybody else. They didn't have anyone that could fill that, and I think that's where he really developed himself and developed his character. Those couple years from like '06 to '08, like part Raw, part SmackDown. So I think he earned his place, but he did have a lot of diminishing returns. I don't know which is better. WWE's philosophy of like putting him out every few months, or AEW's like, hey man, he's here every week. Because I think either way, fans get tired of Edge. Maybe they're just tired of Adam Copeland as a person.
Cope.
Uh, yeah, maybe they're just tired of Cope. I don't know. Uh, they because he did get the send off with Sheamus, and I know people are mad at him for the Vince decision that he beat Finn Balor. Still mad at Edge for it, but no, I think he earned his place, and in the long run, he earned his place. All the bullshit that he did, that which he 100% owns up to. I know he did one of those interviews where he was like, "That was my fault, and it's all my fault." Somehow he got rewarded for it, while Matt Hardy is, oh, but it was. I think, long story short, I think he earned his place, and he earned it like in that mid 2000 era where like people stopped watching. Is where he was the guy that was like really carrying it for
So nobody
everybody.
got top guy, all right. So, but
Hey, Bret Hart and Shawn Michaels, allegedly nobody was watching, and they were the top guys, and they were. Oh, like, look how we treat them.
mhm, that's true. Yeah. Well, but anyway, but yeah, no, I mean, he was a top guy, but also nobody was watching. So,
Look, because like I say, you can say the same thing about Bret and Shawn.
yeah, I know. But Pratik, what do you think of this thing, this match?
This was a good coming out party for Edge. Is he in my top 10 of all time? No, but I think he's had enough memorable moments. I always go back to what moments stand the test of time. We all remember the spear of Foley into the table. I was not there live for that Mania. I wish I could have gone to that. But Kyle, to your point of, I remember I had dropped off in like 2001, and then I came back in 2005, 2006, around the time of that Mania. And I remember like, oh, Edge, oh, the guy from the Brood, he's in the main event now. So I remember him being a familiar face when I kind of came back. And yeah, he's had enough memorable moments. I've always been a fan of him. Yeah, I do think when he went to AEW, he should have switched his finisher. I just think the spear is overplayed. I'm not against him going to AEW. I just think, yeah, treat him like an attraction for what he is. He doesn't need to wrestle every week. He doesn't need to get hurt. That jump off the whatever cage that was still an unnecessary spot. It led to him missing Wembley. That's my only hope is he gets to do Wembley this year because that's a bucket list item for a lot of people, and I think that's a good way for him to. I don't know if he's on his retirement, whatever he wants to do, but I still think they're trying to do something where like Gangrel shows up and they do like another Brood entrance. I think that'd be a good kind of way to kind of cap his career, maybe not his final moment or whatever. But to this match itself for the pay per view, I'm loving these Attitude Era mixed tag matches. They're paced really well. They're timed really well. Everybody plays their part well. Shout out to Jacqueline. She came in and did her role. I like there was like some ass slapping or something when she's jumping on Edge. Like everybody played their part well, and it's very entertaining. I remember it as a kid, and it still holds up even now. So yes, I'm loving these mixed tag matches. Maybe they can do more of them in the current product, but I enjoy them if everybody plays their part well.
I
Yeah.
think with the current product, they gotta like. Unfortunately, they do it with Rhea Ripley, and Rhea Ripley, who I have no issues with, she's just like a monster. So like the last one they did was her and Damian Priest against Aleister Black and Zelina Vega, and come on, Zelina Vega's not getting any offense
Yeah,
on
that's
on
insane.
Rhea
Right,
Ripley.
right.
And then they did one with again the Terror Twins against Dom and Liv, and Rhea is supposed to be so dominant. I would like to see one where it's like Stephanie Vaquer and Finn Balor against Dominic and Liv Morgan, and then it's like a more even playing field, and not just like Liv Morgan getting tossed around and
Right.
whoever the male is looking like an idiot because they shouldn't look like idiots. But
Yeah. Well, hey, that could be interesting. I think Rhea Ripley should. I think there's money in a WrestleMania match where Rhea Ripley fights for one of the men's title. I mean, you want to like have her fight Dom next year for the U.S. title or something. I think people would fucking go nuts for that. I mean, I don't know if they might lose the sponsorship of
Saudi
but
Arabia.
I think people would definitely buy tickets to see that. Oh, Scott, would you be interested in Rhea Ripley versus Dominic for a belt, or would you be like,
Oh, yeah, I'd be crazy about it. I've loved almost any intergender moment I've seen in wrestling. I
mhm.
loved when Beth Phoenix was in the Rumble. I'm a big China guy. I still think they've done her wrong in terms of legacy just because of those last years of her life. But yeah, I am huge into intergender shit. I mean, to the point where, when AEW started, I really thought that was gonna be part of it. And Kenny Omega kind of said it was gonna be part of it, which is like we're gonna get some intergender matches. Yeah, I think they're fun. Again, you know what wrestling is, and so utilize what wrestling is for an intergender match. This is the circus. Have fun.
Yeah, I think the only reason that they don't do it is that I think that it's a harder sell nowadays with sponsors, even though we all know it's fake, even though we all know it's bullshit. I just feel like there's gonna be a few people on Twitter that are gonna make so much noise that it's almost not worth going down that road for either
Right, right.
sponsors and networks. But I also think that once you kind of rip the band-aid off, like obviously I'm not saying that you should have like Obafemi squash Candice LeRae, but the thing is to have Rhea and Dom in a fucking competitive match and the crowd is just going wild like they did for Roman Punk, I think that everyone's gonna get it and kind of just fall in line. But they have to kind of rip the
Absolutely.
band-aid off, kind of have to lose some money and piss off some people to do it. But I don't know if that's a risk they're willing to take. I think at the end, people aren't going to care. They're going to be like, "Yeah, this is bullshit." Like, no, no one cares if Doctor Doom punches Black Widow in the face in Doomsday. But like, I don't know.
Right, right.
You know,
It's the
yeah,
funny thing about wrestling. It's fake up until this moment. Everyone's like, "Oh, this is so fake. This is so fake. This is so fake." And then something happens. And they're like, "Wait a
Then
minute,
it's real.
but we don't like that. That's too real." And it's like, but it's still the same predetermined thing that you're watching.
Yeah.
It's just
Hey.
how people's brains are when it comes to wrestling.
Yeah.
I know they put them in the back in the video games. You can do the intergender matches, so you could be without any like. I remember the old games. If you accidentally like hit the woman or hit the man, it would like automatically like disqualify you. But now you can like have Rhea Ripley take on Obafemi, or you can have your dream match
You can
of Candice LeRae and Obafemi on WWE
2K26.
2K26. Yeah, that's what the advertisement should be.
That would be a pretty good match. I'm
To
not.
be
I'm just
fair,
saying.
Candice LeRae can't don't sleep on her. She could probably do some good stuff.
She can
Oh,
get some
to
good.
us,
Yeah.
yeah.
No,
Yeah,
no, no, I didn't mean that.
Yeah.
She's a married woman
I see what you're
and a
saying
Dis and a
there.
Disney adult. We just were like, hey guys, let's not be weird. So let's not be weird. Asterix. Oh my God.
Philly Hotel was she seemed like a nice person. Dude, the Philly Hotel was like everyone was so respectful of the wrestlers. I don't know what's going on in Vegas, but like they were because the ringside collectible guys were there and I had to go to their room for some stuff. The wrestlers were all over the place and nobody bothered them. And that's not the case in Vegas clearly. But yeah, they were it was
In
pretty
LA
chill
in
hotel and
39, after the Hall of Fame, we were hanging out. We had a friend who was doing press and he left his bags at the hotel. So we were hanging out and yeah, Sami Zayn came through, Bianca and Montez. They were coming back from the Hall of Fame ceremony. You know, some people would just it was very cordial. You just say hi, fist bump, keep it moving. Some people stayed, but no one was like hounding them. Now it just seems like people's minds have just like the social. I think the pandemic kind of ruined everybody's
Yes.
like kind of social interaction skills because
Yeah.
they're getting mobbed. I think Kevin Owens on Chris Van Vliet's show, he described it best, where it's just like it's fine if it's one or two people, but when hordes of people are swarming you at the airport, you're trying to get your luggage. Like I get now why don't bother them at airports. I get all of that now. It needs to be said because we can't have nice things in this fucking world. That's the problem. Yeah. So
and I don't want the wrestlers to know. Don't bother me at the airport, right? I don't give a shit if you like my company. Go fuck yourself, right? You
I
know, and
did
I
see
know.
Scott Hall at the airport. I had to walk by him, and a lot of people were just too after he got into the Hall of Fame, and a lot of people, the fans, were just too sweet to him while he's like in his chair, just kind of chilling.
did he have like
Yeah,
sunglasses on? Just like
Yeah, 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 exactly. He had the sunglasses on. We
he
did.
knew if I just keep it like this.
He knew. Shane Douglas was also on like a different part of the airport, but I refused to go over to him because I did not want to hear him start talking about his glory days. He had his franchise shirt on, so he wanted to be recognized, and I was like, oh, I'm okay.
I feel like the legends are a
that's
bit
fun.
like last year at Vegas when I landed. DDP was right by the exit, and people he signed a few. He didn't like stay for like 20 minutes, but a couple people nicely asked for a photo. He took a quick photo and then he left. Like I think the legends are a bit more like okay, that's yeah, we'll do if you're nice about it and it's quick. We'll do a couple and then we'll get the fuck out.
Yeah, no, some people
Yeah.
are just
All
weird.
right,
Some people aren't. Some people aren't. But we can go on forever about this.
Yes.
fuck them all. Anyway, let's move on to the next one. It's Owen Hart versus Ken Shamrock and TKO. I think you should take notes here. So here's the backstory behind this match. SummerSlam sold so many tickets so fast that they wanted to keep monetizing it. So I think originally this was supposed to take place in the arena on a side, like they were going to put it to the side or something. They sold so many tickets, they decided to put this in the theater, and I think they sold out the theater as well. The theater looks mobbed when you see this match. TKO, I'm not saying do this, but I'm saying do this because you sell out an arena and then you get another arena. You show them one. People paid to see one match
One
live.
man. Wow.
So on a video screen. And it was a madhouse. I mean, look at it was that theater is a madhouse. It is packed to the gills. So when I was there at SummerSlam, I did not like this match because what they did was they rolled out like it was a fucking high school. They rolled out a bunch of TVs,
What?
and you had to watch like the match like that. They rolled out like eight or nine, and they should like it was like a high school presentation, and
Amazing.
we had to watch the match like that. So I think I like stopped paying attention. We all just started booing the whole time. But the people in the theater seemed to be into it. And now I'm watching it. So like when I would watch this show back, I would always like tune out on this because I was annoyed that it wasn't in the building. But last night I actually paid attention, and it's pretty good. It's a pretty good mix of MMA and wrestling. Uh, it was pretty good. You do hear boring chants after a while. I want to say, like, guys, shut the fuck up. This is the one match you get to see live. Show them some. This one of these guys is gonna be gone in a few months. Can you just fucking pay some respect?
I mean, you're not wrong.
Yeah, I thought it wasn't bad watching it now. They do some cool shit with jumping off the cage. I think this is a match that you could rip off and do again nowadays. Maybe get Punk in the cage with somebody. It was interesting. It's interesting, and I also think this is an idea that you can rip off to sell more tickets, and people in it are gonna freak out. I mean, people are paying to see one match. TKO's responsible. Well, you idiots did it in 1998, so why can't you do it now? So again,
Yeah,
I appreciate this match, but live I was pissed. Scott, what do you think of this thing?
yeah. I mean, I appreciate the idea. I understand why you would be pissed. I also understand why they haven't really done it again. It's uh
Yeah.
it's a little disconnected from the live show, even though it's supposed to be the live show. Uh yeah,
Mm-hmm.
I don't think you can like, what's that Mania? What is it? 4 or 5 where it's in like three different locations and
Number
people are
two.
like two,
Oh,
right? Yeah, and it's like,
Yeah.
oh, this is cool. I didn't think it was cool. It's like that Chris Rock special where it's at like 4 different places. It's like this sucks. This isn't fun.
Oh, I like that one. Not
It's
the
cut
Mania,
Oh,
really well,
The Chris
actually.
Rock one. It
Yeah.
is a little trippy.
he's like,
WrestleMania
I'm in
sucks.
Africa. Now I'm in Harlem.
I like the way
It's
Yes.
it's
like,
cut, though. Mm.
No, it's
yeah,
yeah.
but nah, to me it's like hokey shit that again, wrestling is like it's corny enough. When you remove it from wrestling, it becomes even cornier. And that's what I felt about this. I
yeah,
wish it was cool. It felt corny.
yeah. And to me, it felt like this was the one moment where it felt like greed more than putting on a good match. It just felt like we want to sell more tickets. And it was like my TKO 2026 moment for me live. And I think most of us in the building felt that, you know?
Right, right.
Yeah. Yeah. Kyle, what'd you think of this thing?
Yeah, I was shocked that it was in the theater. I thought that was a cool concept, not thinking about all the finances and the things like that. Thinking about the finances, that does kind of suck. And I can definitely see them doing this again. They have tried it a couple times. They weren't Lions Den matches, but they tried like the fight pits with Riddle for a bit. When Riddle was in the WWE, they would have these fight pit matches.
Oh, dude,
Uh,
those Shane McMahon.
oh,
Raw
Well,
that's a
yeah.
different one
Oh,
Underground.
too.
dude,
Raw
yeah,
Underground, yeah. But
yeah.
I
But you're
know.
right. In NXT, he felt like Thatcher in a great match.
Yeah, he had that one. He had
Right.
one with Rollins, I think, at Extreme Rules when they brought it to the main roster. So
Yeah.
they've tried these like MMA style things again. I think Ronda, I don't know if that was a fight pit match or no, that was MMA rules match. Like Ronda and Shayna
You're talking about that
stumbled
summer.
each other.
Yeah, I was there for that. No, no pit.
I'm I'm
Just MMA
sorry.
rules. Yeah.
I think people
Pretty
thought
good.
there was gonna be a pit, and it was just like, oh, this
It was
is
very
terrible.
confusing to the crowd.
Yeah,
For
which
that.
that sucked because Shayna's better than that.
Hmm.
Ronda's Ronda, but no, they've tried. I can see them next year. I really think there's gonna be a show in America. It's gonna be NXT. It's gonna be the people who aren't on WrestleMania. Maybe a big name or two to get people to buy tickets, um, to compete with whatever the rest of everyone else is gonna do. They're not gonna let AEW get all that money. You're gonna have a WWE Super Show, whether it's NXT, AAA, TNA, all this stuff. Worlds Collide, they already call it, and maybe they'll do it at the theater in the Garden. Probably not because of playoffs, but they'll do it someplace where they can. Again, Florida. It's gonna be more competing people in Florida, so no one has to spend any money. And I think they're gonna try that again in some capacity just to get their money's worth. Will it be worth it? Because will you spend thousands of dollars to watch Cylon Hill versus Dark State guy? I can't even remember the other guy in NXT right now. Not to discredit them. There's four of them. I can't remember their names right now. But as for the actual match, the match was fine. I think more stuff that was supposed to lead to Shamrock Severn, which we just did not get, and just a good win for Shamrock. And then Shamrock's career just kind of bottoms out slowly but surely too, which
Uh,
I don't know what happened there, but it was fine. Another one that was fine.
yeah. Well, Pradeep, what'd you think of this thing?
Yeah, again, watching it on TV, it's great. I definitely was wondering how this match would play out, but I enjoyed it. It exceeded my expectations. I liked the way they used the cage with some of the moves. I'm getting Shamrocks, from that background, so he knew how to utilize cage. I'm just wondering if those people in the theater, like watching it, like, can you see the structure? Like, I always wonder structurally for the audience there, how it would look. But also, I noticed in the theater they had it on the screen, so I'm surprised they couldn't get it on the screen for you guys in the actual garden. It was on these
I
little
mean, they had it. They had it on the big on the what? Remember, MSG doesn't have a
Titantron.
tight.
Yeah.
Yeah, remember you saw the entrance, so they had it all the way on the top. But I think some seats it's hard to see
Oh,
the
so they had the little too.
at the top at the garden. So they had to roll out the TVs, but it just seems so. It just seems so high school. Like they literally had it on
Yeah,
the roll. They had it like on the
that's
rolling thing.
terrible. That's I would get pissed. I would drop kick that TV. I'm like, no, we're paying a lot of money for back then. No, I love this match. Again, both of those competitors, Owen and Ken, those easily could have been, bigger stars. Ken Shamrock, I don't know. I feel like that's a Triple H. He's kind of said in interviews Triple H didn't like him. We talked a lot about who Triple H likes and doesn't like. I do think Shamrock easily should have won the belt at some point. Just his look, just his ferociousness. Again, we talk about who helped The Rock on his way up. There's a reason Rock inducted Shamrock for TNA. I do think Shamrock deserves some credit and should be a name for that as well. I was always a big Shamrock fan. I wish he had done more. I'm still surprised why the hell hasn't he gotten into the Hall of Fame? Both years were in Vegas. I thought he easily, when they announced Vegas for this year, I thought, oh, put him in again this year. Vegas would have been good, but no, I don't know what it is. I think he's on a Legends contract maybe, but again, should have had a bigger career. But it was a good moment for him. Again, I don't know why we didn't get Severn and Shamrock properly. Felt like they were teasing that. I would have liked to see that, but wasn't in the cards unfortunately. But the match itself, great, good time capsule. If you're trying to watch this at home, definitely don't skip this. Go back and watch it. It's a nice little snapshot. And yeah, I do agree. There needs to be some variation of that, either at Mania or Saudi or wherever the hell they do. I wonder if WWE is going to wait for AEW to announce it first, so then they can go the right city. Because if they announce it first, AEW will just pick another fucking city, and that'll be
Yeah.
the indie capital for whatever they want to do. But yeah, I'm sure WWE is going to counter program it. You have stars that aren't going to make it to the big show, so put them on this combo super show, TNA, whatever you want to call it, NXT super thing or whatever. You run it, and maybe people will go. I don't know. I'm not going to Saudi Arabia. That is 100% sure. Not doing that
It's gonna
anytime
get
soon.
so messy. I'm just picturing it now. They're gonna bring out like all their anyone who's on a Legends contract. You mentioned Ken Shamrock. They're like, hey guys, we have Trish Stratus versus Lito one more time.
One
Like they're
more
gonna like
time. One
they're
more
gonna
time.
they're gonna make
Sean comes out
sure
of retirement finally. I'm like, oh, right after AJ retires, you're gonna bring back Sean. I'm like, no, save that for fucking,
they're gonna pull out
Cena
all
comes
stops.
back and like I don't know what do you do? I really do think Cena will stick to his retirement. I don't see him breaking
The
it up.
fact that he didn't do anything physical with Danhausen and Miz
Really
and stuff
surprised. Mhm.
shows that he's not doing any type of, in
Oh
my opinion.
yeah. Oh, he was a robot. Yeah, he's
Yeah.
he's done, man. Yeah.
He also couldn't walk. Like you saw him like trying to walk to the ring. He did the run because I guess time,
Yeah,
but like he can't
like a
walk.
dictate Tracy villain action figure, like just
Yeah,
very blocked.
yeah, that's exactly what happened to him.
Dude,
Well,
Vince, it was all very strange.
we had one more. They did try it, not that, but they tried to double money with. It was like the 25th anniversary of Raw or one of the things, and it was at the Barclays Center
Oh,
and
and
the
the Manhattan.
Hammerstein, and it was off. And if you
Yeah.
were in
I
that
remember
Hammerstein,
that. Yeah.
if
That
you were in the
crowd did not like it
Hammerstein,
though because they gave him nothing.
yeah, which is insane. They had no matches in between. They just had to sit there for like 30 minutes, wait for the Undertaker, and then do nothing. And it was so if they can
I
do it,
listened
they'll
to an
do it.
interview with Mustafa Ali. He talks about they started busing the 205 Live guys over to Manhattan Center, like, hey, do like a 5 minute match because everybody's shouting boring and we need something. So they were sending guys over to do like I think if you look on the wiki, there's like a dark match that literally was added because they were like busting guys over.
Yeah, I don't know how they
Unreal.
didn't think. Also, that's not a an easy trip from the New York, like from
No,
Atlantic to 34th is not like it's easier on the train. You have to
they're
like
trying to drive.
you have to hide them all on the subway. You can maybe get them there in 20 minutes, but to bust them in with traffic,
Horrible.
They just had the 205 Live guys just sitting at Barclays and not over
And they weren't
there.
doing
Just
anything at Barclays either. So
yeah,
yeah,
it was just a really bad plan.
put
yeah.
us there.
How do you
Got
Ridiculous.
their
not?
money.
That was something where I'm like, easily, you know what you could have done? You have a match start there at one of the things and end at the other place.
That's what
Easy.
I thought Matt Hardy and Bray Wyatt were gonna do.
Yeah,
Or they would have teleported to
it would have worked. We would
thing,
have bought
yeah.
it.
Yeah. Well, again, they got their money. That's all
Yeah.
that matters.
Yeah. All right. Up next, we got the New Age Outlaws versus Mankind. Throughout the show, Kane has joined forces with Undertaker. He's no longer helping Mankind. Vince convinces Mankind to have this match. This match stinks. I think Mick Foley deserved a better SummerSlam moment. He killed himself 2 months ago, and now he's just getting squashed by the New Age Outlaws, dumped in a garbage can. And I get it's to keep the storyline going with Kane. Kane hits him with a sledgehammer, but this is just not anything anybody wanted to see. It just felt, you know what it felt like to me? Like Russo jumped the gun on the Kane turn so that they could build up suspense for the main event, and it kind of left Foley out in the cold to just get squashed by the New Age Outlaws. But again, this guy like did so much for the company, and you're putting him in this. I didn't like this at all. This is actually my least favorite match, and just the way they yell at him and call him a piece of garbage, and I didn't like this. Scott, what'd you think?
Well, I think it's like a weird truth about a lot of Foley's career, which
Mm,
is and he acknowledges it a lot in Have a Nice Day, which is a great autobiography. But you realize that because he was so good, and Van Hammer died this week, and people are like posting his clips, and the number one thing they're posting is him versus Foley, and they're saying like, "Holy shit!" A lot of people have had their best matches with Foley, and it's because he is so giving, and he is so willing to go there and make someone look good. And a lot of his WWF career was people abusing that. And he mentions it in his book, but it's like even The Rock, like these people took advantage of the fact that he was willing to die for them. And so they murdered him and they kind of treated him like shit. And I think if we look back at the career of Mick Foley honestly, there's like a lot of abuse involved. Like I think people treated him like shit. And this is a moment of like, why is this guy who, again, I mean, Paul Levesque is now in charge of the fucking company. The guy who made Paul Levesque is being treated like shit at every pay per view because he allows it. It's just a bummer, dude. It's a bummer to look back at a lot of his career because he was so selfless while now these guys are pushing to be billionaires.
Yeah, and even like Road Dogg, he became a writer. Billy Gunn still has a job, and he's putting all these guys over. And these guys were just losers a year ago. Like
Dude,
SummerSlam,
losers and not respectful towards him.
yeah, and he's doing his best to get them over. Where it's like, you like, and again, I think I'm going to blame Russo on this because I remember watching the week to week. The fact that they had Kane reveal he's with Undertaker right before SummerSlam, I was like, I think it would have been better to reveal that at SummerSlam,
Of course, yeah.
think that he suffers because like, well, now we have to force you to fight a fucking handicap match. I mean, you know what would have been good? Maybe Edge is his partner and like they fucking win. I don't know. Like it's just bullshit. It's like this guy's got to suffer because you wanted to jump the gun on Kane, and then Kane doesn't even do anything. This is how I know they jumped the gun because Kane just stands there in the main event and leaves because okay, they didn't have an idea of what to do with Kane yet. They just wanted to turn him on Raw to like win the ratings that night, you know?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. And it's like poor fucking mankind. But Kyle, what'd you think of this shit?
Yeah, no, it's a weird spot because it's the Outlaws who are faces but are acting very heelish because I mean the shades of gray, I guess, in the attitude there with these guys. I think there's this slow turn to Mankind being a more sympathetic babyface. But after the summer that he had, I don't think anybody wanted to see that. To see him get degraded like that, put in a trash can, I mean, put in a dumpster and then taken out by Kane like that. But I think in their minds, it was like the slow progression of like, all right, you're gonna feel for this guy because he's a loser in their mind. In their mind, he's this loser. He's this, he's that, and then he'll get his moment. But it just sucked to see. It was a kind of a waste of everyone's time. Yeah, Kane doesn't do a damn thing. It's he's just kind of there, and he just kind of in the main event, he just Undertaker goes no. He's like, all right, but he just kind of stands there. And then Undertaker loses like a chump. But no, it was just weird. What happened?
Yeah. No, he goes, yeah, no. I just want to lose the match. Don't come and help me.
Yeah,
You know?
he just does that. He's like, okay. And then they do more stuff later. But no, I think Mankind, yeah, he's just one of those wrestlers, an example of a wrestler that is so selfless that it comes back to bite you. That's life. You see it in wrestling, you see it in comedy. Say being a comedy producer and you're giving people spots and you're looking out for people, giving people their
Mm,
moments if you
yep.
can. And then the second that, not that everything's a spot trade, but is that person looking out for you or you're still like at the bottom? Uh, Things that I'm personally dealing with myself. I'm just like, all right, this is kind of getting weird. So like Mick Foley is a good example of that. But I think in the long run, he is revered by all of us, not just the four of us. Everybody in wrestling that has not turned on him because he doesn't like Trump, which is sadly a few people. But like we see that, and that's why he's a guy that we support to this day because we've seen what he's gone through, not just as Mankind, but as Cactus Jack, but just being this selfless wrestler, and he's always going to have the love and support of everybody. So I think in the long run, it worked out. At this show, it sucks to watch and still sucks to watch in 2026.
Yeah. Pratik, what do you guys think?
Yeah, definitely not a fan of the punishment he took. Again, it's that thing of and then the announcers are talking about, oh, he came to the Garden to see Jimmy Fly Snuka. So I'm like, oh, he had fond memories here, and he's looking like a fucking loser here. It's a shame because again, he had this huge moment just two pay-per-views ago, and I understand story and all that shit, but again, like they could have done like we've just talked about the turn could have made more sense at the pay-per-view. You could have had him still lose. That's not the point. He could have lost it could have been a harder fought, thing. I don't know if maybe time got cut, whatever, but it feels like no. Vince, whether it was Russo or McMahon, were just like, nope, make him look like an idiot. I mean, not as egregious as Royal Rumble '99 with the 10 chair shots beyond the mat. At the time the pay per view was, oh my god, he's taking those shots. But then watching beyond the mat and learning and seeing his kids in the front row, like they must need therapy for that moment. But man, like yeah, in hindsight, just the punishment that Mankind Mick Foley took to entertain us, like he's true and blue, and he's in my Mount Rushmore. He's always been someone I've appreciated because whether he had multiple personalities and all these characters, he was himself in all those characters. So he's definitely someone I've always enjoyed. I'm glad he's speaking his mind now, on things, and I will say if you haven't watched GCW Spring Break, you might. I'm not going to spoil. I mean, yeah, he makes an appearance. I'll say that this weekend. For those of you that haven't seen the GCW event, but yeah, watching this match, very disappointing. Again, it's at the Garden. Foley's from New York. This didn't need to happen. They could have taken the titles off him in a completely different way.
Yeah, totally. All right, so let's move on to the other ladder match. We talked a lot about this, but I want to point out some other things that I really like about this match. These two guys are not known for ladder matches. So now that it's 30 years later, we can say that Rock never has another one again, and they're not high flyers. I think we can say that. Um, and this is also really only the third ladder match on WWE pay-per-view, to the point where Jim Ross is going over the rules slowly on commentary as if this is a completely foreign idea. And the other thing is the referee is having a hard time putting the belt on the harness because okay, they don't do this. Like now it's like a ladder match happens every 20 seconds. Like yeah, they're not used to this, so it's like the whole thing. Here's the thing I like about this match. I think Triple H and Rock understood that they can't match Shawn Michaels in terms of bumps. So what they do is they don't go for the aerial high flying thing, and they just said beat the shit out of each other with the ladder and whatever they can get their hands on. And I think the psychology is I'm going to beat you to death, and then I'm going to run up that fucking ladder and hopefully win the match. And that works much better. They don't really do ladder matches like this anymore, and I really like it. And when Rock and Triple H do fall off the ladder, they almost lose control of their bodies the way they fall. They don't fall like now. I feel like it's very like you know how to fall off a ladder. These guys don't know how to fall off a ladder, so they're full. Like, they look like lunatics when they fall off the ladder, and I think that also adds to it. It is a very it stands out now because I feel like so many ladder matches are just like carbon copies of one another. But this stands out now because these are two guys who know that they can't do high flying moves, so they make it more of a brutal street fight, and I really, really enjoy it. And obviously, I also said the stuff about the crowd loving The Rock at the end. The people's elbow with the ladder is fucking incredible. But yeah, overall, best match on the show, and I think it's a really cool ladder match. What do you think, Scott?
Oh, I mean, yeah, it is. I think part of the reason it's so good is there wasn't many before it,
Mm-hmm.
and especially for people like Hunter and The Rock, where they're not watching other programming, so it's like to them this is like the third ladder match ever,
Yeah.
and to me. And I mean, gosh, we just had a six-man ladder match at Mania, and it was fantastic, right?
Mm-hmm.
But ladder matches, my big issue with them is they have to be contrived. You have to plan spots, and you got to do your little thing. And I understand that because there's a ladder involved. It's like, you have to. There's a performance all of a sudden that's like dancing or some shit, and you got to plan it out and blah blah blah. But with this, and it's the right way to do it, is you use the ladder as a weapon. You don't use it as your dance partner and jump off of it and flip over a guy and he lands on another one funny. Like that all rules. It's contrived. If you were actually fighting the way The Rock and Triple H did it in this match is what you would want to do. And if you're like, it's easy to look back at it and go, oh, these guys are stars. They weren't at the moment. And I think this was the night, at least like even the documentaries will tell you, this was the night they let everybody know they were stars.
Yeah, I agree. I agree 100%.
Yeah,
100% there, yeah. They make a statement with this match,
absolutely.
and Austin and Undertaker, and I like this. I like their match. Can't follow it. The statement they make on this match, they can't follow it. You know,
No, no, no.
yeah, and
I mean, yeah, no, Taker could never.
yeah, Taker can never. But yeah, what you're saying is yes, this is how, and I feel like that's lost on everybody because I just feel like now, even like, look, I love the spot. Rusev shouldn't be like doing this crazy spot off a ladder. He's fucking Rusev. Rusev should be in the middle of the ring and been like, if you can knock me down, which you can't, you can climb that ladder. But you're not gonna like throw me around off a fucking ladder. I'm a monster. And instead, they have Rusev flying off the ladder too, and it was cool. Don't get me wrong, it was great. But it's just I don't know. There was a realism here that you don't see anymore, and I think it's
Right.
because this is what these guys could do. Yeah. Kyle, what'd you think?
Yeah, I thought it was a good match. Obviously, I don't know when Triple H's leg gets hurt. Or if this is more storyline, they have him go off to get surgery later. I don't know when Triple H's leg gets hurt in this match. but it's really good. It's their moment. It's their moment to shine and give them, um, which like look, this is why they're here today. I mentioned earlier D'Lo Brown and Val Venus, The Rock and Triple H. They both all four had something to prove. Two people made it. Two people unfortunately didn't. And these guys had not just the in-ring acumen, but the charisma and the machine backing them. And they were given this opportunity, and they knocked it out of the park. China did a good job. China in green did a good job. Her role, as well as Mark Henry. Uh, an underrated Triple H match because I don't think people talk about Triple H's matches or you want to give him, like I said before, they don't want to give him credit anymore on social media because it's cool, especially Twitter, cool to hate everything Triple H does. And there are a lot of reasons to not like him, but to say that he's like never had good matches and that everybody carried him and all this other nonsense that they're saying, like there's proof. This is a match. Like you think the Rock was calling the shots in that match? No, they fucking work together and they work with the agent and they put on a show stealing match. So overall, I enjoyed it. It's definitely one to go back and watch, especially early Rock and Triple H before they become the Rock and Triple H. Uh, Probably match of the night, honestly.
Yo, there's
Sorry,
definitely match.
sorry, D'Lo. Sorry, D'Lo. Our match of the night.
Yeah, I think
Clearly,
it's
match of
definitely
the night
match.
is Golga.
Critique, what did you think?
Yeah, again, everything that's been said, like this should be on if you're doing compilations of Rock matches, compilations of Triple H matches. Fantastic match again, psychology, 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 psychology. Not everything can be a spot fest. I don't want to take anything away from this past Mania's ladder match because it was fantastic. The Mexican Destroyer spot, Javon Evans, good showing for everybody. But in terms of this match, this is a match that's lost the time in terms of using the rawness and real heat. Again, sometimes real heat helps a match. These guys did not they knew how to work together, business, but the realness of you can tell that they didn't like each other and it played out on screen. And I think we need more of that nowadays. And I think, yeah, not every ladder match can be, to quote MJF, video game spots or whatever. Like you need a ladder match like this once in a while. You need some real heat. And this was perfect marriage of everything coming together, using the ladder in different ways. Yeah, third ladder match. I believe Rock didn't he have a ladder match with Foley in '99 or
He
something?
did, yes.
I believe that was the final match of their little series that whole January.
That's more like Rock just throwing Mankind off a ladder
Again,
26.
mankind taking punishment. Again, now a running theme of poor Mama Foley's baby boy just taking punishment
Right.
all throughout the late '90s.
Rock like
Isn't he dating like
15.
a
That's okay.
porn star now, Foley? Was that true? I know he was hanging out with somebody.
Oh,
Uh,
I didn't know he divorced.
that's what
No,
somebody said. He was hanging out with.
his wife left him.
What happened?
I think his wife left him.
Oh,
Yeah,
really?
but he so I forgot
Was she a Trumper? Is that what? Did you want them Trump tech?
I don't know, maybe.
Hanging out with
uh,
Jericho's wife, I
they've been
think.
in Long Island for a long time,
Oh,
but they no, I forgot who the porn star was, but it was Mick Foley was she had a photo with him, and she was saying very nice things about him. If that's the case, at his age with all those and limited movement, nice pull, brother.
mm-hmm.
yeah, man, he deserves the world.
Yeah.
Another reason to like him.
He's got
He
that.
Wow.
The teeth may be gone, but he can smile. He can do a lot with
Hey,
that.
yeah, hey,
Hey,
if you know what you're doing. We are
yeah.
recording this at very late at night, folks. It's not an
Mhm.
afternoon recording.
Real quick, I love the brawl outside as well when they were like kind of fighting by the stage. And again, I miss those. We talked about it in other episodes. I missed the stages, and I really like that grate with like the scratch logo on it too that they came out of. All that's cool. Slamming each other into it, it was great. Again, this was paced really well. 25 minutes, but it felt like a breeze. Like again, we talked about timing on this show a lot. Like some matches are shorter, but they feel longer. Some matches are longer, but they feel shorter. But this was the right amount of time. I wouldn't cut anything. This is great.
Yes. All right, let's move on to the main event.
All right, just before we do that, it's Christy Canyon. If
Okay. Yeah.
anyone's interested.
A lot. Yeah. All right. So the main event is Austin Undertaker. First of all, seeing these entrances in 1998 live, what an experience! And you know what? I just finally had a moment. I realized how lucky I was to see Austin come out in 1998 at Madison Square Garden. That is fucking
Wild.
that's wild that I saw that, and you felt it, dude. You like don't get me wrong, the pops for Rock were huge, but fucking Austin walking out, you felt like this is something else. This is something else, and man, Austin and Undertaker do not like this match. Austin has gone on rants about how much he doesn't like this. He gets injured, he gets a concussion halfway through. I had no problem with this match watching it live. I was very satisfied, and I was satisfied again watching it. They think it stinks, both of them. Certainly not as good as The Rock, Triple H, but I think that because I think both guys were injured too, like even before Austin gets a concussion in this match. But and also they get upset they fucked up the table spot. The table doesn't break, so they're also pissed about that. But I think like kudos for Austin being a perfectionist. But I thought this was fucking great. This was a great like way to end the show. I really enjoyed this match. What do you think, Scott?
I think it's great because they're icons, and you're right. As a kid, again, going back to what the poster even meant to me was like, these are the guys of the moment.
Yeah.
But and honestly, it's like, dude, it's like a lot of Undertaker's career. I'm like, oh, we're all lying. Like there feels like a big lie.
Yeah.
It's like, no, this match wasn't good. Taker never had a good match with Austin. He's
Mm-hmm.
only had good matches with Foley, who everybody has a good match with, HBK, who everybody has a good match with, and Hunter, because they both took themselves very seriously together and they like created a delusion with each other. But I personally, this is gonna sound crazy, but again, it's about to be 3 a.m. my time. I
Jesus.
think the Undertaker kind of stinks. And
Okay.
this was like, again, this is like peak Attitude Era Undertaker, and he's fighting your top star, and it kind of stinks because the Undertaker, he kind of stinks. Like that's the actual truth about the Undertaker is it's not very good every time.
I think he's only as good as his opponent is, and I think Austin, which he admits, Austin just loses control of the match once he gets his brain scrambled. When Austin couldn't guide him to what he wanted to do, the match falls apart because
That's fair.
needs Austin. And listen, they don't like this match. Austin does not like this match. But I think that's it. But yeah, I think you're right. I think Undertaker's only as good as you're willing to. You have to bring Undertaker. You have to guide him, and if he's
Oh,
guided,
it's like
he's kind of
Roman.
like
It's like
Steve Mambo
Roman.
McMahon.
Yeah.
Yeah, Coleman, same thing. You got to guide these guys. But if left, I mean, if Roman's left to his own devices, last night would have been 30 minutes of spears and Superman punches.
Oh
Like,
yeah, it would have
like
been a
you
Cody
have to
Rhodes
guide.
match. Yeah.
Yeah, you have to guide these guys to something decent. And yeah, I think you're right about that. But keep. I know you have. Do you have more thoughts about Undertaker? Keep going. I think it's funny.
Well, not. I mean, it's crazy. Maybe it's my timeline, but it's like American Badass Undertaker was more entertaining than he was a dead guy. Like he fucking stunk. Like I mean, look at the Mania matches when he was the dead man. They're embarrassing. It's all fake.
Yeah.
It's all very bad matches. His Again, it's like it's Foley and HBK, and these guys are, if we're being honest, they've had the best matches of all of their opponents. So I don't know, man.
Hmm.
I just think Taker kind of sucks. Like I think he sucks dick. I think it obviously like it was supposed to be Austin a few years ago in that Cody Roman match, and it was
Yeah.
Taker. And I laugh at everybody who goes, that was cinema. I go, that was a dud, and that's a very bad match. And Undertaker sucks, and Roman Reigns sucks. Yeah, I don't know. That's how I feel.
Well, I agree
It's
with you with
true.
Roman Reigns. He's very limited, and he should buy CM Punk a house after last night because
For real.
he got his Undertaker Shawn match out of CM Punk last night, and he should also buy fucking the Young Bucks a house because if the Young Bucks were like, yeah, we'll work together, fuck it. Why forced to argue? He would have been probably fucked by Duncan last night. Jesus. Kyle, what'd you think of this thing?
Right.
And all the hot takes come out at 3 a.m. our time. Uh, it's been happening with the Undertaker a lot, especially on social media, that his career is not as good as people say it is. It's more mystique than it is matches. I think a problem that the Undertaker has is that his in-ring career gets compared a lot to Sting. And Sting and the Undertaker are two different types of wrestlers. It's like similar dark gimmicks, but two different types of wrestlers. So Sting had a great library of matches throughout the 90s, even in the 2000s, even in TNA. Undertaker had shit matches because he was fighting Giant Gonzalez and Kamala and big man of the month. You weren't gonna get anything with those. So I think he just has like a big asterisk on his career when it comes to that. When he becomes the American Badass, there are better matches. I know you mentioned Shawn and you mentioned Foley. Kurt Angle brings out a lot
Oh yeah,
in the
yeah.
Undertaker. It's probably Undertaker's best wrestling match ever. Bret Hart usually brought it out Undertaker. Austin and Undertaker, yeah, they just I didn't hate this match. As I said, this is like probably their best match of their matches, but it was something about the two of them that just did not work. Even the very first one that we watched on here, where
Good.
Austin and Taker are more technical, like just something just does not click with those two, and they fought so many times, and it just was what it was. I like this one. I did notice that like Austin got hit really hard, and then like things slowed down for a bit,
Mhm.
and then that's just kind of how it went after that. But yeah, I think just these two were just anytime they had to go against each other, it just did not go the way anybody wanted them to. As for Roman Reigns' career, I don't know. I don't have next week. We can debate that. I don't have anything to say about his career right now. He's on a high. His family hasn't turned on him yet. I'm gonna let him have his high. Could you
Critique.
imagine after all of this, he's like, you know what? I'm gonna listen to my favorite podcast, Goots Wrestling Pod, and
Gootz
then he gets
Wrestling.
offended from what was said.
Joe Anawai's favorite podcast.
They're still
Right.
old school. They don't have
That's not
time to.
Roman. That's Joe Anawai listening.
Joe, yeah, Joe's favorite podcast.
Yeah, I still I think you bring up a good point about like Undertaker's like dance partners, and sometimes it takes a good dance partner to bring out a good match of his. There's still stuff from the Attitude Era I enjoyed. I enjoyed a little bit more of the ministry and the cult leader Undertaker when he's crucifying people, but that's maybe not the technical part. That's more of the emotions that he brings out. In terms of this match, I still remember the poster. I remember the commercials. There's still elements of big money elements to this match that I enjoy. But yes, the concussion hitting, there is a bit of a derailment. I mean, if you think about Austin, SummerSlam has not been kind to Austin. There's a run there where last year, the match, and then next year is the Ventura match where he's kind of working injured too because he takes time off there. So yeah, this is not. I don't think this is necessarily their best outing, but for what it was, if you consider all the variables of them following the ladder match, they're injured, working injured, and then getting concussed. You consider the fact that it's the rowdy NYC audience. I still think they delivered a closing moment that worked. I didn't understand the Kane turn, and then he doesn't interfere. Like I understand it wanted to be like one on one, blah blah blah. But if you're gonna have that turn, there could have been some interference or something there. I think I don't know. Like I personally prefer. There's a different Austin Undertaker match that works for me on an emotional level. But for this one, I think maybe probably technically better than the. I really like that fully loaded '99, the first blood, the emotions of is Vince gonna leave? Is Austin gonna lose the belt?
Yeah, that match is good because of all the interference and all like the escalation, like
But
X
it
Pac
works,
gets involved.
like for an attitude era and escalation.
Yeah.
Whereas this was just like a straight rest. So I think technically this is the better match, but emotionally that one is better. So yeah, for me, yeah, the ladder match was definitely the better match on the card, but this still does the job of the main event. The crowd is still, the crowd is still excited for this match. It is still the money main event. We all remember the commercials. We all remember the posters. it still works for what it is, but yes, it definitely you sense a moment where the gas starts to run out, though. I will say.
All gas. Hey, listen, but you know what? The Attitude Era was all gas, no brakes.
All
So
gas, not Timmy no breaks, but all gas no breaks.
you know, okay. So my dog's got to pee. So let's move on to the plugs. Overall, Scott, usually there's only like an hour and a half podcast, but we had so much to talk about. You got to sit in the longest one ever. Let's go. Let's do some plugs, and we'll get out of here. Scott, you got anything to plug?
Yeah, sure. I have a wrestling podcast with former WWE writer Robert Karpolis. It's called Working Stiff. Check it out. And yeah, I'm at like Comics at Mohegan Sun in like a bunch of times in May. So yeah, come out. That's
Oh,
about it.
all right, cool. Kyle, you got any plugs?
Characters like comedy, May 2nd, 6 p.m. at the Stand. Come hang out.
Cool. And Pratik, what about you?
Yeah, I got some shows coming up in May and June. I'll be in the Bay Area May 8th, 9th, and 10th. And I'm also doing commentary for Armored MMA. We have a show in Hammond, Indiana coming up. So if you want to see guys fight MMA style but in suits of armor, it's kind of medieval. Check out Armored MMA, and I'll be doing some commentary for them this summer at Pratik Comedy on Instagram. You can find all my dates on there.
Sweet. And give us a review on iTunes. Goose's Wrestling, both called the old name Goose's Disney Pod. Goose's Wrestling Pod. And thank you so much for listening. And this has been a great WrestleMania season. We've had our two longest episodes. Scott, how did it feel to sit in our longest episode ever?
Oh, I loved it, dude. I love it. I don't care that it's 4 a.m. I'm gonna go buy a bagel.
Yeah,
That's a
you
great
can
point.
do that.
Go get eaten by cold. Thank you so much. We will see you next week for Fall Brawl 98. We'll see you then. Thanks, folks.